Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Femicide. Grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that. I don't actually know if I'm live because this new setup is like really annoying. That's the first thing. The second thing is drop a one if you can hear me. If you're here, I'm going to try to pin something. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Team Acentos. Hey, all right, you guys can hear me. Is the mic good? Is the microphone good? My glass feels so lean on my face. It doesn't matter. You all are not here for my glass. All right, Coolio. Love me some Themis. Oh, I appreciate that. Let me address something off the top. So I've been getting a lot of messages in my comments and DMs online, and I think they're coming from a good place. I don't think you guys are trying to cause conflict, but I want to make a public service announcement. I feel no way about like people online backstabbing me. I've completely detached emotionally from like a lot of engagement online with people. I feel no way about someone quote unquote competing or even trying to attack my channel. I think my friends online have like a very specific bucket. I don't find people I don't fight with people on here. I don't find anything interesting with going back and forth and fighting on a personal level. I don't expect loyalty. I care for my friends and I treat people well, regardless of if you're my friend or not. But I also don't expect loyalty on here. And I'm going to keep this pretty vague. I don't depend on anyone online. So my general feelings is do your best and Godspeed. I have no clue who y'all are talking about, and I do not want to know. If I loved you once upon a time, I wish you the best currently, and I will continue to wish you the best. If we were ever friends, if you can destroy, I think this was the issue. Someone was like trying to do. Are people trying to destroy your channel? Blah blah blah. If you can destroy my channel through, I don't know, competing or whatever, my channel was not worthwhile to begin with. I just kind of do my best online and whatever happens, happens. I also do not know about any beef that I'm in. And I think this is the interesting part. I don't know about any beef I'm in. I promise at least my Discord, at least my Discord, because we chat literally every day, at least my Discord would know and they would tell me. So two things: love you down, love you all. Actually, really appreciate this community, but please do not bring me any more message about other content creators subliminally attacking me. If my name is not said, it's not about me. That's my general. If my name is not said, it's not about me. I also don't care about timing of content and any of that. It is what it is. It's not a thing I care about. So I hope that makes sense. Um, I'm still doing it. Keela, I am still doing. I don't care how well rested you think I don't. I don't care how. I don't care how well rested. I'm still doing what I said I was gonna do. I don't care how rested you think I look. I need to look more rested. Um, Themis, can we get super long lives back? Oh, I appreciate that. Also, there's something else that I wanted to address. So there was a shooting in Denver, and I wanted to take the moment to say that my heart goes out to the two students who were wounded on Wednesday in a shooting at a high school in Denver. According to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, the shooting took place at Evergreen High School. Um, And I can't imagine what those people's families are going through, those children's families are going through, and all these like gun violence at school in particular. It's really, 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 really tough to see young kids um, having to face the reality of gun violence. So my heart goes out. My heart goes out to the children. Um, yeah, as someone who believes in God, and I do, we're going to talk about Christianity in a minute, and I have my problems, but everything I put in God's hands, and um, I don't know what else to say. Protect your peace as long as you can. And now let's get on to the show. Um, Let me read this comment. Thema said, do your best and be best. Compete who? Period. I am friendly. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. You're going through it in the US. Yeah. There were upwards of 40 school shootings, and that's really sad. That's really sad. Too much violence, Themis voice. Hey, Sober Bobo. Hey, Kilo. Thank you, Vision. I appreciate you all for being here. We are going to get into some things um, on the other side of this intro. So I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me show the comments on the screen because I think this is so cute. All right. So let's get into the show. There is a reinvigoration of an old conversation online about women. And I think this is my manifesto of my feminist, um, my transformation into a full blown feminist. I don't think that I've always been feminist, and I think that I will also acknowledge that there are questions I still have, and I'm still searching and all of that. But I'm a full blown feminist at this point. I think that it's time to be radical in terms of one, protecting women, particularly around the rhetoric online. That's true. And two, I think that I'm going to be kind. It is insane to me that there are still women out here pretending that, like, their autonomy should be up for debate, and that in interpersonal relationship with men generally, that you are going to relinquish freedom. That's insane. So this is what I'm going to be calling a kind of lecture series online. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to do it. And I do hope that you all come up and engage with me, because I want this to be very interactive. I don't want my words to be the final say so, but I will be telling you what I think. And I hope that you guys feel comfortable coming up and telling me what it is that you think. And whatever is happening over in the news right now, it's not going to be my problem. So, are we good? I'm going to drop the link after the first 15 minutes or so. And then hitting the link is like raising your hand. We're going to structure this like we're in a classroom, right? And hitting the link will be like raising your hand to come on. And you can disagree or agree, but you will have about 30 seconds to explain why you hit the link and have a conversation. It will not be long. I will be removing people quickly. And I'm going to be firm in that if the conversation isn't really substantive or addressing what we're addressing, then I'll just move on. I hope that makes sense. All right. Cool. All right. Here we go. Sober Boba says, to each their own, as long as they come to that conclusion of their own free will. Yeah. And that's kind of the issue, free will. and what is happening generally. But here we go. Let's get into it. You'll hear my position, and then anyone can come up. Anyone can come up and we can talk. All right. So I was perusing online and I found this new the NBC article. Before the article, I found a guy on TikTok talking about the article, where they did a survey of Gen Z young people. That is, people who voted. Let me be big. People who voted for Kamala, men, Gen Z men who voted for Kamala, Gen Z women who voted for Kamala, Gen Z men who voted for Trump, and Gen Z women who voted for Trump. And it is so interesting to me that the ideas that these people hold as important and how they view success is so fundamentally, so vastly different. And this schism is creating a huge problem, not just in dating, but how men and women are relating to each other. And I think it's interesting. I think it's something that we should talk about. And I think when it comes to ideas around bodily autonomy, when it comes to ideas around who you are, I think these are questions now we need to answer. So buckle up. We're going to be talking. This is Sociology 101. And I am going to be making the argument that your autonomy is important, that actualizing as an individual, both as a man and as a woman, independent of man or woman, is important. And I will be pinning the link in, like, again, 15 minutes so we can get to that. So this, by the way, if you guys want to know the methodology and if you guys want to learn about more deeply what is happening, I'm going to just post the full thing here so you guys can go read that afterwards. But I just wanted to put that out there. Cool, we're cool. All right, let's get into it. All right. I'm going to make this big because this is kind of insane. I am very much proud. Let me Please let me hear that you can drop a one if you can read this. But I'm actually very proud of women who voted for Harris. Some of the research for the women who voted for Harris, the survey rather, around the women who voted for Harris is actually very important and very nice to see. So Gen Z women that is women under 30, when they were asked to rank the things that they found to be important to them, important for personal definition of success, having children was way at the bottom. Now, I would never, ever in a million years guess that women would rank career, having money, having emotional stability, using their talents, financial independence, having no debt, owning a home, making family or community proud, being grounded spiritually, able to retire early, being married. I did not know, and I would not ever have guessed that Gen Z women would put all of that before having children, because I just assumed women were socialized to have children. The patriarchy tells you you need to be married and have children. You need to have children. You need to have children. You need to have children. And so, watching and reading about the younger women as they are coming into more adulthood, as they are in their 20s, they're thinking about what it looks like to have a full life prior to having children. And then conversely, the men who voted for Trump have having children as their number one. Riddle me this. Do you think if men had the actual responsibility of rearing children, that they would put having children at number one, the most important thing for success? Do you think they would do that? And I think the more honest people are, and I'm glad that these mothers on TikTok are coming out and they are all really, really engaging in the truth about how difficult it is to raise children and raise a man child and then go to work and have the second shift. The second shift, feminist theorists, is the idea that women both go to work and come home and do the kind of home care that has been traditionally relegated to the realm of women, right? And so I think this is interesting, but more than the women who voted for Trump, I think the ranking of important or personal definition for success for men is very telling. And I highlighted it on the second one because I was very confused. How can you have having children as your number one priority, right? The most important personal definition for success is having children. And at the bottom, you're having emotional stability. What sense? Sorry, let me not yell. We're not we're we're, we're not that place. We are not at that place yet for me to be yelling. Let me calm down. How do you have emotional stability? Now there's one lower which is about fame, but how do you have emotional stability as your lowest priority? Also, the idea that you want using your talent and resources to help others is under having children. This right here, using talents and resources to help others, how is that under having children? Yeah. sorry, sorry. I don't mean to be yelling, but like, what do you mean? I think this is actually insane. I think this is actually insane. And this highlights a deep, deep schism that exists. The order of priorities don't make sense for men. Y'all leaders aren't making sense to me. The so-called leaders having children, financial independence, fulfilling job career, being married, the fact that you have having emotional stability when a lot of us are unstable is wow at the bottom. The fact that you don't want to use your talents to help other people, or if you do, it is ranked so low in terms of your personal success, is actually kind of wow while trying to create another human being. Girl, they flipped the Maslow hierarchy of needs. All right. So I did go further because I wanted to see if they did the men who voted for Trump and then the women who voted for Harris. I also wanted to see, oh, this is terrible to look at. I wanted to see what the men who voted for Harris had also, right? And it's interesting because the men and women who voted for Harris are seemingly compatible. What I did find interesting but did not know to look up is that the women who voted for Trump also had children way down at number 6. So this leaves conservative men in a pickle. If we are supposed to extrapolate any meaningful thing from this, it is okay, these men want children. Who is the woman most compatible for these men who don't care nothing about their emotions, or at least rank their emotional stability at the bottom of their definition of success, right? And then rank having children at the top. Maybe MAGA women would be sort of their perfect fit. And then you go to MAGA women who are voting for Trump. And even the women who are voting for Trump are talking about achieving financial independence, having a job or career you find fulfilling, owning a home, being spiritually grounded, having enough money to do the things you want to do. They all put that above having children. And now I want to talk to these women. The MAGA women, the women who want career, Gen Z women who voted for Trump, and say that they want to have independence, financial independence, have a job and fulfilling career, own their home, and having enough money to do the things that they want to do. I kind of want to talk to them. No, no, no. I want to, like, what do you mean? Amina, yeah. Amina, I think having children represents their desire to have a woman anchor to them for easy access to intimacy. Yes, and that they don't have to care for these kids. Right? Like these men, and part of the problem that I'm having to engage with is the reality that for a lot of men, fatherhood simply means I lift my child up, throw her and or him in the ear once or twice, and then give him or her to the mother to do everything else. Right? Because if if emotional stability isn't above having a child, you probably shouldn't be having a child. Like, what do you mean? Not even the women in MAGA wanted to be tied to men and dependent on them for financial resources, which we're going to get to the trad wife conversation in a minute. We are going to have to get to the trad wife conversation in a minute. But I do think this is important. I cut the other part and put it at the bottom. So here it is. So again, the women and men who voted for Harris seems compatible, right? The women and men who voted for Trump, not so much. not so much. In any case, I do think, again, having children for liberal women is at the bottom. I think this is a good thing. Look at the buildup, having a job, being stable before creating a family. I think this makes so much sense. Trump men want children, but put emotional stability at the bottom with wanting help and not wanting to help other people. So even Trump women want to build their own lives outside of men, but they'll fight about feminism, which is something we'll talk about in a minute. And so let's talk about these men, the Trump men and their dating strategy. Let's talk about the Trump men and their dating strategy, because I just learned, first of all, which of y'all, why y'all didn't tell me that there was a right wing dating app called The Right Stuff? But this is important news for the fact that I had to go out and find out that there is a dating app for the right wing is diabolical. Because you know that's right up my alley to go look into. Like I want to see what is happening on this dating app called The Right Stuff. Like, so I found out about it, and girl, trash, trash, and more trash. Tell me why the app has no woman on there. Tell me why. Tell me why the app has no woman on there. Riddle me that. To be fair, to be fair, to be fair, Grinder, they could just turn it into a grinder. And hear me out. That sounds insensitive, but they could turn it into like a grinder app. And we know that the grinder saw like a 60% increase in use where they were having the RNC, right? The Republican National Convention. I mean, look. Anyway, I'm gonna. So, a lot of people have been coming out talking about how they've dated a MAGA person and they had to stop dating a MAGA person. And I find this aspect, this part of the internet really interesting. So I did go out in order to sort of understand fully the narrative, the interaction, what is happening, why are people trying to get women to submit. I did go out and I tried to find a summary of what these women are doing, how they're engaging with these MAGA men in dating. And I found the perfect we'll get to Laverne Cox in a minute, but I found the perfect summary. How you gonna have children without sharing resources? Hey, Keela, they're gonna find a way. They're going they're not gonna share their resources. The woman can do it herself. You've been a member for 20 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right, so let's look in. Oh, hey, London Link. I missed you. I feel like I haven't heard from you or seen you in like a while. All right, let me show y'all this TikTok before we talk. I know y'all weren't expecting this face, but here we are.
My boyfriend loves Trump and I do not. That is currently the. That didn't age well, now did it? So we actually broke up a month after I posted that video because we were watching the JD Vance debate and he said that all Black people needed to get over slavery since his grandparents came over on a horse-drawn wagon, and although mine were picking cotton in a field, great grandparents, and although mine were picking cotton in a field, that we had all of the exact same advantages in life. And so that's when I realized he really wasn't on my team, and I felt extremely unsafe that he.
I'm sorry, I'm cutting her off. What do you mean you found out that your MAGA supporting man was not on your team when y'all were watching the debate and he essentially said you were picking cotton and I was coming over here? It's the same thing. How did it take you getting to that point to realize that your MAGA supporting man was not on your team? How did it take you to that point? Because you played in everyone else's faces. So everything was good. His vote, all of that, everything was good until you were harmed or you felt harm. Laverne Cox did the same thing also, which is very strange to me. You aren't safe with people who do not see you as a complete human being, as a whole person. What part of that don't you understand? Like, I'm so confused. What part of that don't you understand? Date who you want, be with who you must, but also know who you are as an individual and also as part of a group. If someone hates your group for characteristics that they can change that you share with that group, how do you feel safe being the exception to someone who hates your entire group, girl? Like, that don't make no sense. This does not make sense to me. And I'm not even just talking about friendships. Friendships, I'm not even going to tell you how to do with your friends. I think when you have been with friends with people, right, you probably want to work, to negotiate, to change mind, to understand. You hope people are good people and you are a good person and you're working to figure out what is right and what is wrong. But sometimes that doesn't even yield result. And a lot of these people know they are trash people. A lot of these people will never admit more publicly what they believe, who they believe in, how they engage, because they know it's trash. And are they weak, useless people who are so afraid of being judged for their political beliefs that they hide it. Either way, it is trash. And these women are like, oh, we want protectors, we want protectors. Can someone who voted against their interests really be considered a protector? Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go there. Can someone who voted against your interest as a woman be ever considered to be a protector? How do you let someone in? Like, funny enough, I get even your family, your friends, you don't cut them off. How do you let someone intimately in your life, separate from friendship, in your life, who like very overtly express hatred? Like, that does not, like, I promise you, friendships make sense. I it shouldn't. People are gonna be mad, like, oh no, no, what? Like on some level, I understand friendships. I understand wanting to change someone. I understand it. But there is a separate link when you become intimate with someone about protecting you, caring for your body, engaging in a healthy way. If you're a woman wanting a protector, specifically if you're a woman wanting a quote unquote protector, it is wild to then have someone who does not see you as fully human. And no, ain't nobody gonna sit around with someone thinking, oh, my family coming from a white area, even in America where certain groups in Europe weren't considered white. I don't care. It is going to be very different from your ancestors being slaves. Point blank, period. That's not a one off conversation. That is a personality. That is a character issue. That is something you must have known. And you started off the video because you came online. You came online to let us know that you were dating a MAGA and everything is going well. And then after you broke up, you came back to address that old video. Good on you for addressing your old video. Shouldn't have made the old video in the first place. I get wanting to change people's mind. I get it. And I get that on a personal level. Everything else I don't understand. When we audit our own lives, I think we have the impulse to say we are wrong. I have the impulse to say I am wrong. And I want to know how I am wrong. And I will ride a friendship all the way to the end until I can't anymore justify how I am wrong. My relationship, intimate relationship, does not have that same thing. It does not. That is, no, if you are in my world in that way, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility. What do you mean?
My boyfriend loves Trump and I do not. That is currently the that didn't age well, now did it? So we actually broke up a month after I posted that video because we were watching the JD Vance debate and he said that all black people needed to get over slavery since his grandparents came over on a horse-drawn wagon, and although mine were picking cotton in a field, great grandparents, and although mine were picking cotton in a field, that we had all of the exact same advantages in life. And so that's when I realized he really wasn't on my team. And I felt extremely unsafe that he was not vouching for me. So the G Wagon was great. The Limitless Amex was great, but was it worth it? I'm going to go with no, because my safety is a little bit more important. Also, for any women that decide to date him in the future, please make sure to check out his calculator little app. You will find all of the photos of the women that he actually likes.
Okay, so you didn't leave him because he said slavery was not important. Y'all need to get over it. You left him because you found him cheated on you. With what I'm assuming to be is, I think the implication here is trans. I don't know, but I'm thinking this is that was the implication. Because either one or two things. Let me be very clear. Either you knew about that secret folder of pictures he had and you were okay with it, and then you left when you found out about the whole JD get over slavery thing, or the reverse happened. All right, girl, hang it up. Go ahead and hang it up.
He actually likes. Um, this lovely MAGA supporter, you know, super, super MAGA, got a little private life. So make sure to stay safe out there, guys. Please be safe.
Ain't nobody trying to hear nothing from you. Like, oh, so annoying, so annoying. I have seen a lot of women, not this term, thankfully, Trump's last term, they claim they did not know that their men were anti-women and didn't believe that these men could do this or could do that. Let me just say this. I don't believe none of these women. I don't believe these women. Unless you're not listening to these men or asking these men questions, I do not believe you. When someone tell you that they are not into politics, you know where they stand. When people said they don't really think about politics or engage with politics, I'm curious as to why you're interested in people who are not interested in your livelihood. Like, I can't even imagine being friends with someone who is like, I'm not into politics. Mind you, these people tend to have very anti-gay stance, very anti-women stance. And it's interesting because a lot of these women are like, oh, I didn't know. He just said this one time, this other time, this third time, this fourth time. And so, I mean, they were kind of red flag. No, you knew. You knew, and you wanted to live in like a delusional world. And that's my problem. So, like, let me show you this girl talking about, oh, I didn't know. You knew. I'm tired of playing like these games, like, oh my god, let's be soft and cutesy and like let's pretend like we're just gonna like handhold these people forever. No, they knew exactly what they were doing. Like, you should have just came out and be like, girl, I wanted money, I was spending his money, it is what it is, leave me alone.
So I matched with a guy and I asked him who he voted for, and he said Kamala.
Okay, I have story time for you guys. So for like the longest time ever, I had, since like the Trump's first election or whatever, I had on my dating profile, if you like Trump, you and I will never hump, right? Insinuating I don't date Trump supporters. And I also added in there, I do not date Christian men. I do not date Republican men. Like those are hard fucking no's. So I start seeing this guy a couple of times. He tells me he's not Republican. He's not really into politics, whatever. But as I hang out with him a couple of times, and then he's like trying to conceal his views or whatever. So anyway, one day I end up.
No, it's not whatever. What do you mean he was trying to conceal his views? How was he trying to conceal his views? How? How did he try to conceal his views? Did he even care? Like, I don't get these people like, oh, he was trying to conceal. How? Why not? Okay, girl, period. It should not be this difficult.
Going to his place, and like, well, before we went to his place, we went out, we were hanging out. All of a sudden, he's like saying stuff about like illegal migrants being here, right? But he's a migrant. So then I'm asking him what his status is, because I'm like, I need to dig here. Like, well, why are you saying this? But then I find out that he's an illegal migrant, right? Like, he's illegal himself, but then he's essentially like being racist towards other people. So once I find out his status, I like confront him and I'm like, well, what are you doing? Like, you're.
And I bet you the story doesn't end here. Oh, it doesn't, because it has like 3 more minutes. So he was racist. He was talking mess about illegal migrants. He is himself an illegal migrant. And you thought, oh, okay, cool. Oh, okay, red flag. He's racist. Red flag. Let me just keep doing this.
You're an illegal migrant, and then you have like the audacity to say that other people are illegal based on like their skin color. Like, you don't know their status. And then I dig in, because he's like from Poland. So then I dig in and I'm like, Latin Americans are more entitled to be here than you are, because like Latin Americans, like, we have Native American DNA. And you also.
So he was being racist to people who you are sharing group with. You went to confront him about his racism and his xenophobia, but you stayed with him. But you stayed with him. You stayed with him. Because again, why do you have 3 more minutes left of storytelling? And you are coming online to get praise for standing up to a MAGA man that you sure stayed with, even after finding out he was racist. A racist, illegal Polish man that is xenophobic.
Also just don't know people's status by looking at them, right? So anyway, that was like a red flag, right?
Racism was a red flag. Racism was not a deal breaker. It was a red flag. Racism was not a deal breaker. It was a red flag. Period.
So anyway, we end up going back to his place. Yo, let me fucking tell you how I find a MAGA hat. And then I pick it up because I'm like, what's going on with this shit, to confront him. Behind it is a fucking stack of books about Hitler, including Mein Kampf. So at this point, I'm like, I'm like, this guy, you're taking me home. Like, I'm 2 hours away from my house, but you're taking me home. So anyway, I start confronting him, and then I find out that he lied to me, and he's like, I didn't want to tell you my political ideology because like you're so pretty and you're liberal and stuff. So then I'm like, so wait, you're like everything I don't like. So I confront him, and I'm like, well, you should have known better, because like, why would you think I would like you? Like, I literally just shit on Republicans all the time. Like, I would never want to be with one. So then he's trying to tell me how he thought.
So you did not want to be with a Republican. You just wanted a racist. Because racism was a red flag for you, but it wasn't a deal breaker. You just was like, racism. All right. Well, I'm gonna note that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not great, but like, I'm willing to look past it. I'm willing to look past it. Hey, girl. Hey. But the MAGA hat in the Hitler book was what did it for you.
He could convince me to get to like him, to then try to change my political views. I was like, you are a fucking idiot. Yo, when I tell you, I made fun of him the whole fucking 2 hours of him driving me back home, and like, literally, because I was just like, what the fuck kind of shit is this? Like, the audacity that this man had in his head. So not only did I make fun of him, but I confronted him, because I was like, you were just trying to manipulate me. Like, you literally thought that you could hide who you are.
All right, I'm annoyed. I'm not going to finish playing this. Ain't nobody trying to manipulate you. 0 people tried to manipulate you. This man straight up told you what he thought about being able to look at people and know that they're illegal immigrants. And you sat there saying, oh, this man is xenophobic. I confronted him, let him know that we were able. Like, no. A lot of y'all are just delusional. Like, it's not great. A lot of this is delusional. A lot of us, a lot of you, me, all of us, these men aren't smart enough to be manipulating you. They're not. So either, not gonna say that, or you just wanted to manipulate yourself. You just wanted to be delusional. Therefore, you made up a world and you excuse all the bad behavior because you just wanted that man to be there until it slaps you right in the face. Because there is 0 way that you gonna sit there with a person and say, oh yeah, he was racist. That's a red flag. Thank you, Peters. You've been a member for 52 months. I appreciate that. By the way, I am building up to something. And I hope this allows us to like break whatever delusion we are under. A lot of these men, we know they are trash because they're hiding their ideology. Again, whenever I go through my life, the parts of me, if I find any part of me that I think is abhorrent or that I won't make people know about, it means that I need to do work there. These people's entire political ideology cannot be put on mainstream. They hide it, they lie about it, they don't engage with it, they don't tell their friends, they don't tell their co-workers, they don't tell their partners, they even try to hide it sometimes from their family. And then it starts seeping out, and then people start accepting things that they should not accept. These people are either weak and useless, or they understand that their ideology is repugnant and they still keep these ideas privately. So when I audit myself and I find the parts of me that are bad, these people know their whole ideology is a mess and they don't care. This, I think, is the difference between good people and trash, disgusting degenerates. Also, this idea that these women are looking for providers and protectors, one, these men are cowards. Two, we know these people are like suppressing homosexuality, because homosexuality, by the way, is one of the things that stays on conservative men's mind the longest. And I don't know why. Like, we talked about the RNC, but also there's this whole cheating thing that is happening. And I'm gonna just run through a little bit more before we move on from like the MAGA dating foolishness. I will drop the link, but I do have a lot more to get through. So bear with me. Let's go to this cheating thing.
Was raised MAGA, the sad reality is that a lot of white women only vote the way they do because of their husbands. And white women are a demographic of people that consistently, historically have voted against their own interests. If you are a white MAGA woman, I want to tell you right now, there's a high chance that your husband is probably cheating on you. And if he's not doing it in the physical world, he's doing it in the online space. Most people who consume OnlyFans and other content are married. And here are some messages that I have gotten in my DMs on Instagram. This guy directly says that he hates his wife and he is trying to get me to send him explicit content or whatever. I don't do that, but point being, I like to talk to these men to see what is going on in their lives and where they live. And if I can, I will try to get a hold of their wives. Can't even tell you how common of a pattern this is and how many messages I get of married MAGA men trying to get me to engage in this work with them. So if you are a woman and you voted MAGA, be careful where you place your loyalty. It's always better to think for yourself than relying on him, because look what he's doing behind your back.
First of all, second of all, and third of all, a lot of these women know they're men gay. Like, you're not going to convince me anything else. It is what it is. That is fully what I believe.
Get me to try to like fall in love with you and then manipulate me.
That is fully why I believe. This is why these women come out so harshly against homosexuality, and the men come out so harshly against sexuality. A lot of them think that if they push forcefully against sexuality in this way, it will shame their men into staying in the closet and be with them longer. That is my observation of what is happening. I don't really care. These men are cheating. These women know about it. And instead of taking it out on their men, they take their resentment on society, and thus the Karens are born. But because I don't want to just assume you all know, my assumption, by the way, is that y'all know about who MAGA and who is not. I think you know from talking to people, you know from the engagement, you know where they stand politically. I think you all are just lying to yourselves. But when I was talking to a friend of mine on the Discord, they said that, well, Themis, you probably should try to figure out and let people know how to find out if a man is MAGA. This is not a part of my lesson plan, but because women told me to do it, I'm gonna do it. So
you're trying to tell if
here you go. Here you go. I don't think y'all need this. I think if you need this, you're lying to yourself. But here to know if a man is MAGA or whatever.
If you're trying to tell if a guy lied about voting for Harris in order to get into your pants and actually voted for Trump, here's a few easy ways you can tell. The first way is to ask him what him and his friends did on election night. Say something like, my friends and I were out celebrating all night. We were having such a good time. What about you? The same also applies for inauguration. Pretend like you're a little excited about it and feel him out. The second way is to go onto Donald Trump's Instagram and see if he's following him. And if you're on dating sites, I'd actually recommend that all my liberal girlies take off that they're liberal, because these guys will lie to you. And the third way is to go onto didmyfriendvote.org, type in their name along with their age to see if they voted. because those men also don't get kitty cat. And you may ask yourself, why would a conservative man want to date me as a liberal woman? Here's the kicker. They love liberal women. Taking down a wild, professional, successful, beautiful woman and keep.
I'm gonna stop her right there. Ain't nobody. If you have a friend, just go look up who they donated to, if they donated at all. There are public donations that you can track. Like, if you wanted to, you would. If you wanted to know, you can. There's no reason, and you don't even have to go look up anything. You can just, in conversation, know what these people believe. Like, the idea that it is so difficult to decipher what people believe is kind of wild. No, I'm not going to play. I mean, I guess it's almost done. I'm not going to play because we're pretending like we're children. And I don't like this pretense that we are children somehow don't know. So let me get back to my lesson plan. Y'all know if you're being tricked, it's because you want to be tricked about who people vote for. It's going to take a really toxic person to completely change their political identity, sit with you through movies, through conversation without their MAGA persona coming out. Like, you're not going to convince me of that. You can convince me someone lied to you about their identity, lied to you about loving you, lied to you about a lot of things, but your political identity and religious affiliation are two things that are very difficult to hide. Even in one conversation, these people react emotionally to everything. Let there be a woman leading a movie and see what happens. But I think part of the problem is that a lot of us don't like paying attention. We are so self-centered that we only talk about ourselves once we have our little fantasy world. We live in that fantasy world and we don't come out of it. We reject anything that breaches the bubble of our fantasy, so much so that we allow a lot of toxicity in an effort to have our fairy tale. And that's wild to me. If you cared enough about your partner, you should know them enough to know where they stand on a lot of political issue. If you don't know that, you're not in love. You're probably only feeding your ego by being with someone so that other people can see you as valuable. You were chosen. It is impossible as a partner for me to believe you can love someone without knowing anything about that person. You too are the problem. It's not just the quote unquote MAGA person or the person lying. You're a problem. You're not even trying to understand people. You too are a problem. All right, cool. I shouldn't have played that because now I played it and I pissed myself off. Like, I pissed myself off. Like, ain't nobody need to hear none of that. No. Okay, back to our lesson. back to this. Oh, I'm gonna drop the link after this. Sorry, I thought this would have been quicker. Why are people calling me when I'm live? While we are talking about sort of dating, the right-wing app, The Right Stuff, right? We talked about this in it was struggling, and I said, what did I say? Just turn it into Grindr. But I want y'all to see this write-up on the dating app. We're not going to read all of it. But the reviews were in, and essentially, I don't even want to read this. Essentially, it is trash. The men are on there mad. They can't find any woman. None of the women wants to be on the app. None of the women want to be engaged with any one of the people on the app. The reviews are trash. They're asking where the women at. The men who paid for advanced membership only had men to sift through. And so the gun bearing, truck driving, American flag waving men's just did not have anyone to bear their children at home naked barefoot. So that's that on that. I'm not reading that foolishness either. I just realized I don't want I don't want to read it. And so part of this is the idea that there are women waking up, right? In the absence of women on right-wing dating app. Sorry, and this is funny, but not really funny. In the absence of women on right-wing dating app, there is a conversation about women actually waking up and engaging in what it means to be fully self actualize, from sort of financial independence to standards around their humanity. Women are using some of this in the dating market to either be by themselves, even if they crave partnership, but requiring more in terms of seeing yourself as a human and your partner seeing you as a human. That is wild. That is wild that we're still having conversation about you being seen as a human being by the person you choose to be intimate with. But women are now saying, oh, well, you need to see me as a human being, and I'm not about to just do that. I think there's definitely a pushback that has started around women not submitting to ideas around patriarchy and whether or not men, because men cannot materially coerce women in mass to be submitted to them. They cannot coerce women materially in mass again to do what they want. It is not their grandfather's America anymore. It is an America where even while rights are being stripped away, women have some level of independence that they can determine what they will allow into their lives and what they won't allow in their lives. And this is driving men up the wall. And so I do want to talk about patriarchy, not just from a sort of system level analysis, which we will do, but also an individual engagement by both men and women, how women also perpetuate the ideas around patriarchy and men accepts their role in patriarchy insofar as they're comfortable and nowhere else. The discomfort with having to go out to provide, the discomfort with protecting is non existent. The only part of patriarchy being upheld is the part where the woman has to engage in a very specific way. Right. And so I think it is weird for women to even uphold patriarchy. Like, if you were being like, a la carte patriarchy. Like, if you were engaging in patriarchy in an a la carte way that best suits you, that would make sense rationally, right? You're a rational actor, you take what benefits you and disregard that which doesn't. But that's not what women are doing. Women are, prior to Gen Z, right? Specifically Gen Z, and I do think there has to be a kind of generational divide. But so when I say, I'll try to make the divide. The women who are millennials and older seem to have agreed in large part that they will both foot the bill, ignore the fact that there is no protection necessary unless they're protecting from other men, while also doing everything that they're supposed to do under patriarchy. So absolving men from their responsibility while engaging deeply in doing theirs and also making up for the men's responsibility. And I do think that is insane. We were talking earlier in the Discord, and the conclusion is very simple. Why would we expect people with power to give that power up willingly when they don't have to? The people they have power over have acquiesced and given in to their leadership. I think that it is an insane and high ask. It's almost an impossible ask to tell men to give up patriarchy without you yourself giving it up. Thankfully, Gen Z, I have faith a little bit in Gen Z, but we'll see what's going to happen. All right, so let's get into patriarchy. Ignore the PowerPoint is for me to like remember things. And the men are saying, what about societal hierarchy? They love it. They love it because they're placed on the top, and we'll get to Christianity. So my Christian girlies, get ready. Actually, let me drop the link. This, by the way, is not just for everyone to come up. If you have something to say, I'm putting the link because I want this to be more interactive. So you guys get to come up and tell me your opinion. But I'm going to post this. All right. So the link is there for you to raise your hand if you want to jump up, and if you have something to say, you will have 30 seconds to like explain why you are here, and then we can have a small conversation before moving on. All right. So I saw a video and I realized we really do need to talk specifically about patriarchy. I think we need to watch the video first. I don't know if at first glance you all will pick up on the why patriarchy is the thing that came to mind, and why I think it was important that we understand, talk about, engage with patriarchy. So I'm going to play this video and then we will come back.
I took one for the team, and like, not gonna lie, like a smidget embarrassed, because I swear the 15 other couples were probably looking at me being like, this girl is a single mom who just got knocked up. And literally, I knew someone else on the tour. I took one for the team, and like, not gonna lie, like a smidget embarrassed, because I swear the 15 other couples were probably looking at me being like, this girl is a single mom who just got knocked up. And literally, I knew someone else on the tour, and her husband was like, yeah, no, the thought definitely crossed my mind, like, oh, she's just like some young girl who got like that is so. I was cringing a little bit, but it's fine. I should have been like, hi guys. I should have worn a sticker that said, I don't know.
I don't know if you all heard that. So she went to tour somewhere, I think a hospital parental thing, without her husband, and she was scared that people would think that she was a single mother, because her husband wasn't there. Mind you, she could have just, I don't know, wear her wedding ring. So I don't think she cared about any of that. She just wanted to announce to the world that, oh my God, I was so embarrassed. People almost assumed that I was a single mother. Right? And she is revolted by the idea that anyone could possibly think that she was a single mother. Right? And so we're going to watch it again, not now. We're going to watch it again later, but after we get into this video. Well, not this video, but this conversation. I think that the video is sad. First, I think this is an attack, regardless of what she tries to say, because she gonna come back crying later. She gonna come back, because they always come back. They always come back crying, but she's gonna come back crying later. Because one thing about the TikTok girl is, will not let you rest. They will drag you for morning, noon, and night, every single chance they get, whenever you mess up. So again, sad video. First, this is an attack, a clear attack on single mother. There is clearly this disdain for single motherhood. She calls it embarrassing, right? Second, and I think more importantly, the shame that comes is something that is a cultural experience. And there is a part of this where what she says is not personal. It is. She meant to do what she said. She meant every word, right? But she is articulating a cultural experience, a cultural expression about womanhood. Someone asked if they can come up. Anyone can click the link. Just please have something pertaining to the topic at hand. It's like raising your hand. We can come up, we can talk, whatever. But yeah, just I'm trying to stay on track. So yes, it is toxic for an individual to engage online this way. This is toxic. It is also a snapshot of a culture that degrades single motherhood and women without owners. I mean, without protectors. Like, and women without protectors. Why that? I did not mean to say owner. And women without protectors. Well, anyway, ain't no reason. Sorry, my bad. My bad. That was not. Someone said that's the Lord speaking through you. No one said that. I'm saying that. Mm-mm. Sorry, I'm trying because I have to go into my explanation of patriarchy. I have to go into my explanation of patriarchy, but I wasn't ready. I was not ready. Um, Patriarchy, as we all know, is a social system where men hold primary positions of authority, like political leadership, moral authority, and like control over property. It involves structures and practices. Sociologists call this a system of oppression, domination, and exploitation of women, right? I think we can go to anthropologists and trace the origin of patriarchy as something that is linked to the idea of ownership. So it is a shift away when we as a society moved away from hunter gathering to a more sort of the farming stable. We're not moving around and we now have ownership. It is not just ownership of land and chattel, right? And food. It is now ownership of people and ownership of women in particular. The questions about how these dynamics develop, I think, boils down to things that anthropologists will point to, like, I don't know, men being physically stronger in earlier society, women having pregnancy roles, and women being excluded from education. We can think of ancient Mesopotamia as like a random example off the top of my head, right? And I think the question is like, how do we know we're in a patriarchy and all of that stuff? I think if we are going to engage honestly in conversation, I should not have to describe to you how to know if we're in a patriarchy. I think if you ever come to me and say, oh my God, how do we, after I explain about leadership, right, control, power, dominance of men, if you're going to come to me and say, oh my God, how do we know this is a patriarchy? I'm just going to tell you to not engage with me. I'm just going to tell you to like not talk to me, right? Now you can debate me and say it is not a patriarchy, but don't ask me to tell you why I believe we're in a patriarchy. Already did, already done, not going to do it again. But marriage is and has become, I think, an important aspect of this because it is seen as a cornerstone for patriarchy. Women give up freedom and autonomy to be chosen, then use marriage as a kind of status symbol, right? Marriage is used in this way to pedestalize oneself and make you better than other women. While not impossible to unlearn, I do think this is difficult. I think media training around what it means to be a good woman, what it means to be a successful woman is so embedded, ingrained in women's psyche that they willingly will jump even into bad, terrible, disgusting, degenerate relationships just to say that they have a man, that they have a partner. Another element of this is the idea of scarcity and competition with other women, which makes other women not allies, right? And it's hard to trust other women for some women because they're competing for men and male attention generally, right? The ultimate says women now know that we are trophies in the games of men. The smarter she is, the more she can not be controlled. Feminine energy is a need for all men. Agreed. Agreed. Fully agreed. I appreciate that. Thank you. Someone said a good woman sacrifice. Yeah, let me know. I'm gonna save this because we do need to get to Christianity. Christianity. Look, my Christian girl is get ready to come up, and we gonna talk. So, because competing heavily with other women is a part of how patriarchy prevents women from coming together as a collective, distrusting other women becomes a part of this competition. Men, in turn, use women to extend their legacy as maids, cooks, until women could work and provide for themselves meaningfully. They were completely reliant on men, and men took full advantage of this. Now, children, men want them, women want them, but for two different reasons, right? The children are essentially accessories, a part of the man's lineage, and the woman is just the conduit for having children. And this has been seen throughout, especially American history, where even down to naming, which we will get to naming, because part of the things that I don't understand is why we sit up here. I don't fully understand why it is that we lie about the tradition of taking the man's last name. And I do hope that somewhere on my PowerPoint I bring this up again. I think I did, but it's something that I do need to discuss because we need to stop lying about where this whole naming thing comes from. We'll get there when we get there. But I want us to rewatch Claire's video.
And like, not gonna lie, like a smidget embarrassed because I swear the 15 other couples were probably looking at me being like, this girl is a single mom who just got knocked up. And literally, I knew someone else on the tour, and her husband was like, yeah, no, the thought definitely crossed my mind. Like, oh, she's just like some young girl who got like that is so. I was cringing a little bit, but it's fine. I should have been like, hi guys. I should have worn a sticker that said,
I don't know.
All right. So obviously she's getting dragged. But interestingly, this lady came out and was defending her. And I want you to hear this defense of not just Claire, but of patriarchy. But then the person we're going to watch also attempts to distance herself from the idea that being a single mother is a problem and cringe. But I want you all to watch it. I want to watch it. And yes, and yes, and yes, yes, that's exactly who did it. Yes, yes. White women getting dragged for talking about single motherhood. I don't know why you would throw yourself in front of a bus and have the bus run over you. Like, I don't know what would possess you to see.
It's not wrong. Before I had my child, my biggest fear was going places and people thinking that I was a single mother. That people
Before you had your child, your biggest fear was going places and people thinking you're a single mother. Why?
thinking that I was going to be a single mother, that people being like, another broken family. It was a big fear of mine. I like kind of went through hiding my pregnancy. Like, I just was not comfortable. I really didn't even want to be a mom. It was just a lot going through my head. But I was like, this is not a good time. I was afraid people were going to be like, you're having a child. You're not rich. Like, you guys don't got Elon Musk money. I was afraid of a lot of things, like just judgment, because I'm like, nobody should be. I was in the part of the group that was like, nobody should be having kids. And although I was taking all the precautions to not have a kid, all the
Girl, you weren't taking all precautions. Like, don't play in my face. Oh my God, I was taking all the precautions. Also, I didn't want a child. My biggest fear is that people would think I'm a single mom. You don't have a life. If your biggest fear while you're having a child is that people don't think you're a single mother, that is insane. Like, you have been so caught up in patriarchy and having a man that, like, you can't even fathom the idea. It tears you up inside that someone would even think that you're single. That is your biggest fear. Yeah, it's irrational. It is irrational. Why are you online talking about this girl now? You saw this girl getting dragged for filth across the concrete. You saw her getting ran over on TikTok, and you decide to come out to say, "Yeah, girl, I ain't want to be no single mother." Fine, you didn't want to be a single mother. You're not a single mother. Why are you here? Why are you announcing this? What use does this serve?
Majority of the production.
Mind you, while they're doing this anti single mother propaganda, the US is pulling back on that because of the birth rate. Because so now no one want to have children. Gen Z is like, girl, I ain't doing it. The millennials started this trend. They were like, girl, ain't nobody got time to be having kids. We need to be out in these streets zipping it and zooing it. Gen Z took that to the nth degree. The birth rate is decreasing, and y'all out here worried about a single mother. Y'all gonna be praying for the day there were single mothers. Y'all gonna be praying when this population pyramid flips, when the older population is reliant on younger people to pay into, I don't know, Social Security. When we, when we don't have enough people to care for the elder population, y'all gonna be real mad when this population pyramid flips upside down. Because y'all spend all this time demonizing single mothers around welfare issue, and now look at the community. All right, girl, period.
Precautions like condoms, and I whatever. I was afraid for someone to look at me and be like, ew, like unwed. Like, and I know that's crazy, but it's not also crazy because we know how it's looked at. I will say I have my kid. I don't care now if I was a single mother. If my husband was no longer with me, I do not care because I have my baby.
Also, she's lying. She lying. Straight up lying. Like about, oh my God, I was so fearful. Why are you telling us this? And even if you don't care, why just sit there and eat your food.
And I'm going to take care of her because she's mine and she's in this world. But before, did I feel that way? No. When she was in utero, do you think I was like, I'm still going to be independent? No, I was like, independent who? I'm dropping this baby off. If you don't want to be with me, you don't got to be with me. Here's your baby. Like, we never had that conversation for real. But I was telling my mom, and my mom was a single mother. She was married and then she wasn't. Now she's a single mother. Like, I was telling her this and she's like, oh my God, this can't be my daughter. And I'm like, but I am. And just the other day we was laughing because I was like, oh yeah, all that shamumu that I was talking, it was crazy because no, she's mine. And she was like, yeah, I just let you talk. I was like, she is talking cash because that's how I felt. Like, no, you're not gonna deem me as a single mother because you just don't want to be that. When he came to every single appointment of mine, and I remember it was a time, this is how deep it is. Like, y'all is bashing this lady, y'all would have hated me. The hospital I went to had disability parking, but sometimes it would be taken because like there are a bunch of disabled people, and even pregnancy, like you're temporary disabled, whatever. So if those parking spots were taken, then he would have to go to the regular parking, which was farther from my office. So what he would do is drop me off like the front. So the first time he ever did that, and honestly, it was the first time anyway, the first time he ever did that, he was like, I'm just going to pull up to the front and then you can walk in and go in because, we don't want to run late. Go check in. And I'm like, okay. No, I'm lying. I did not say okay. I was like, no, I can't just go check in. I was like, no, you need to come with me. He was like, yeah, but he's like, I have to park. It's going to take you longer to walk there. He's like, just go in and check in. He's only asking me to check in. I am boohoo crying right outside the office. So you have the office, and then it's like this little corner over there. And I'm in the corner, not going in the office. I'm boohoo crying. He calls to be like, hey, did you check in? And I'm like, no, I didn't check in. I can't check in. They're going to see me. They're going to be like, you single mother. They're going to be like, they're going to dog me. And he's like, what are you talking about? Nobody cares. Nobody's going to do that. He was like, do you understand that it is married women in there right now by themselves? He was like, bro, back in the day, they didn't even go to check on the kid. They only got the kid after the kid was born. He's bringing all these facts. But I'm like, I don't care. That's back in the day. Now I need you there. He's like, it's a bunch of men that are working right now. He was like, we are privileged to where I can come with you to every single appointment. But not everybody has that. He's like, not everybody who don't got a partner is a single mother. And I'm like, I'm not trying to hear it. I'm boohoo crying. He comes to the office and he just looks at me, and then we just walk in there together, and I'm like, don't be mad at me, I just couldn't go in. And he's like, yeah, I understand. He did not understand because he didn't understand how I was feeling, but I felt that way. And I don't know, I just think it's crazy to get on this lady for saying the thoughts out loud. Like,
it is not just saying the thoughts out loud. I don't understand how you don't understand that this is about insulting and disrespecting a group of people, like, unprovoked. Unprovoked. Like, single mothers are out here minding their business. You all come out, oh my God, I just did not want to be a single mother. How embarrassing. Ew. Why? You said your mom was a single mother. I am sure something in your mind must have thought, you know what? The world beat my mother up enough already. Maybe I should keep this dusty, disgusting, degenerate, delusional story to myself so that I'm not out here putting this in anyone else's face. Mind you, the truth is, you can still be a single mother. Like, these women really sit up online and they're like, oh my God, ew, oh my God, single motherhood, as if you can control whether or not you're a single mother. Once you have the child, it is completely out of your control whether or not you're a single mother. Completely. I do not care what anyone says. Unless you're planning to do something fully illegal or you're going to hand the child off, you can be a single mother immediately because that decision is predicated on whether or not that man want to stay. But because patriarchy in this way has tied your value and worth, self-respect, agency to that of a man being around you, you can't even fathom the idea of being a single mother because, oh my God, what is society is going to think? And yes, you think poorly about other people. Here's this girl coming out here apologizing because after this one jumped under the bus, because ain't nobody told her to jump under a bus. Like, yeah, yippee, the world knows you're not a single mother. How did that materially change your life? Instead of grappling with the unlearning that she needed to do, which she's admitting, instead of talking about that, she's like, oh, why don't be mad at her? I also did it too. No, engage with why it is bad that she came out here and said, oh my God, that is so embarrassing. They thought I was a single mother. Ew. Engage with that. Engage with the fact that she came out here, the way she said it, what she did, talking about you and how embarrassing that is, loudly talking about nothing that like no one asked her about this. Talk about why people are mad. You can feel how you want to feel. You can be like, I don't want to be a single mother. Completely cool. Fine. But when you say ew, when you say embarrassing, you are now making a judgment on other people. It's not just about your personal preferences, and those people have a right to drag you for filth. Also, because we know you can become a single mother, why would you continue to create the environment that would make you be placed in a worse position than you are in? Like, why would you add to a culture that shames single mother when you can be a single mother yourself? Why wouldn't you create a better environment so if you end up in that position, you will be better off for it? Because your current statement and degeneracy does not help your current position. What would help your later position is lending compassion. So after this black lady jumped out in front of the bus, drove the bus over herself, the white lady came out and apologized. Left her out there to hang. the white lady came out and apologized. So girl, she said she didn't mean it. So I don't know what this one was talking about. Because she came out with no makeup on, looking like she about to cry. Ain't nobody care nothing about this. When I realized there were some women who could cry on cue, I think that saved my life. I think that saved my life when I realized When I realized people could just cry in queue, I was shook. And they're not actress. That's what I mean. Like regular women can just cry on queue. I was like, oh. Yeah, look at them. When I said they tore her up on Instagram, I wish I thought I wish I said they tore her up on Instagram. They tore her up. 'Cause I don't understand why people just always feel the need to flex their relationship. Like just be happy. If you're that happy in your relationship, be happy. It's like this girl. What's her name? What's that girl that FD Signifier was dragging? She made a video with this woman who's talking about you need masculine men and I am a wife and I know what it means to be a wife and you girls need to be your wives and figure out the man gay. Your man gay. I mean, wait. Yeah, what's her name? I have to show y'all that video now. I do have to show y'all that video. Because that was funny. Also, we need to stop acting like pregnancy isn't preventable. I tried everything to prevent. No, yeah. At the part. Oh my God, what's her name? Kidology. Let me look up this video. Because she gave us a banger. Kidology gave us a banger. Where is it? No, why is Sabrina Carpenter on my screen? Ain't nobody trying to do none of that. Oh, I have a long lesson plan. Sorry, I'll come back to this. Her name is Savannah Stone.
I just wanted to come on here because I have seen how many people I have hurt and offended, and I feel horrible about it. Like, I totally understand how insensitive that sounded. And like, I'm embarrassed that I used the word embarrassed, and I'm embarrassed that I used the phrase knocked up, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't catch that before posting that, because as this being my job, like that's part of my job. And I just feel so bad that the specific group that I offended is some of the strongest people out there.
Mind you, let me show you what she did. Because, like, one thing for certain, two things for sure. I'm not going to sit here and have this girl play in my face with this dusty apology. That's what I'm not going to do. That's what I'm not going to do. So let's hear it again.
I took one for the team, and like, not gonna lie, like a smidget embarrassed, because I swear the 15 other couples were probably looking at me being like, this girl is a single mom who just got knocked up. And literally, I knew someone else on the tour, and her husband was like, yeah, no, the thought definitely crossed my mind, like, oh, she's just like some young girl who got like, that is so. I was cringing a little bit, but it's fine. I should have been like, hi guys. I should have worn a sticker that said and like, being moms is like someone who hasn't even birthed her child yet and already messed up so badly. But I just,
mind you, this has nothing to do with whether or not you have birthed a child yet. What you said was disrespectful, like oh my God, I messed up in my motherhood journey already. Like, oh my God, guys, I messed up in my motherhood journey. Girl, you were dragging single mother. You could have been doing that with or without the child. Like, you just have a trash idea about single motherhood and you put it out. And maybe you think it's not trash, but stand behind your foolishness. Say, look, girl, I want to be a single mother. I think it's embarrassing. Goodbye, good luck. Don't care nothing about none of that. Like, Just say that. I don't like people coming out. I don't like people coming out here apologizing for things that they meant. You meant it. You were like, embarrassing. Ugh. like you did all that.
Just want y'all to know, y'all as in the single moms, that I do not think that about y'all at all.
What don't you think about single mother? You don't think what about single mother? I don't think that at all. I just want you to know. No, you've bought hook, line, and sinker into patriarchy. You thought, oh my God, it's so disgusting. They cringe. Oh my God, this is disgusting, embarrassing. How could you have a child without a man? Ew, I hope no one thinks that about me. That is so disgusting. That's what you believe. So yes, you believe that. You said it. What do you mean? You believe that. Stand in it. It would have been a better video if you came out and be like, I think y'all should get married. I'm a Christian woman. And if you're not married, you shouldn't have children. Just say that. Period. Say it. So you can be dragged for your true beliefs. Like, oh my God, guys. Oh my God. No. No, I don't believe that. Oh my God. Why would you ever? No, I love single mothers. Sorry.
All in the slightest. I am horrible with articulating what I think sometimes. Like I really am so bad at it. And it's not an excuse, but I just like that's not like I don't want y'all to think that, like that's what I think about y'all and that like I was judging y'all like that I was.
I don't want y'all to think I was judging y'all. I'm sorry, ma'am. What exactly, if you weren't judging single mothers, what exactly were you doing? I want to know, if you weren't judging single mothers, what were you doing? I hang it up, girl. Just, go ahead and hang it up.
Not, and I do not in the slightest. I am almost 9 months pregnant. And I think pregnancy is hard, and I can't imagine how motherhood is going to be. And then I can't imagine for the moms who do it themselves. Like, I do not discredit that or want y'all to think that I do not think that that is the most important, strongest job in the world. And I just like can't believe that I use such poor words and offended all of y'all. So I'm really sorry. That is not what I meant at all. And I don't want y'all to think that that is how I think or view single moms, because it's really not. And I'm really sorry. And I feel horrible in all the stories of y'all single moms. Like I just couldn't watch another one without saying anything, because I just wanted to apologize. But love y'all, and I hope that I can continue to share my.
I think these women are really dangerous. I think for the first, this is not something that I thought about previously, but I think I now understand how dangerous these people are. Like, one, don't buy any of this. Not even on sale. Not even with a return policy would I buy any of this foolishness. But this woman is really out here. The thing is, she's taking a truth, and I think she is really sorry that y'all are mad at her. I think she's really hurt that y'all are mad at her. I think she feels upset and is emotional that her bottom line, i.e., her time on TikTok, may be affected by this. I don't think she feels sorry about anything I think she meant every word. That disgust, she literally squealing with disgust. Right. Like, she was disgusted. She was, the revulsion was felt when she said, oh my God, a single mother. She said, single mother. Ooh, yikes, yuck. This is not new. Sex ed is hyper focused on not getting pregnant, skims the surface of biology meets chemistry and lifelong consequences outside of stereotypical convos. No critical or long term thinking. Yeah, yeah. And now they want to remove sex ed completely. Like, now they want to just kind of remove sex ed completely, girl, because they said y'all don't need this. So anyway, I think this is dangerous. These kinds of people, I think they are so desperate to be chosen. Once they finally get chosen, the world needs to know that they are chosen again. Like, just really deeply patriarchal. And I do worry that there's a lot of women, I'm not saying her, let me remove her from the screen, but I've heard a lot of stories where young women talk about how their mothers did not protect them from men they were dating who became physical with these kids, both men and women, girls and boys, because these mothers and women, I'm talking about the women specifically, because these men are trash and should be under the prison. But when I'm thinking about the women, I'm trying to figure out what animates a lot of women to stay with men. I understand abuse of self, but when that transfer to the children, now we have an even deeper problem about sort of the need to be selected, the need to be married, the need to be partnered, and how much you're willing to give in order to be partnered. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about femicide as a general matter, because the UN came out with a report. When was this? I thought yesterday, but it was that every 10 minutes, a woman is unalived, right? And I was thinking about that, like what that looks like on like a global scale. Like every 10 minutes, a minute, a woman is unalived, and how deeply sort of detached we must be from the value of the lives of women to not really engage immediately with this kind of statistic. Let me, right. Um, there is, and we talked about Black femicide, and it felt like every time I talk about it, there was some man somewhere jumping up, coming up here telling me, but it's not that serious, it's not that important. And I got tired of talking to men specifically about Black femicide, and just started just talking about Black femicide without engaging with men. Because I do fundamentally believe for things to change, we do need men to buy in to one, feminism or womanism, but specifically around the idea that men are actually causing a ton of harm to women. And I don't think it's like I'm trying to figure out how to get men to know this reality, think deeply about this reality, and engage meaningfully in changing this reality. It just seems like it feels like even the men who do not commit these harms against women, unaliving women, even they are unwilling to grapple with this reality. It almost feels like they feel responsible, and because they're not responsible, they're going to have to do something, and because they don't want to do anything, they just deny its existence and not engage with it. Right? A woman or girl is being killed in the world every 10 minutes by someone they know, and that is important. An intimate partner. So we went through all of that. The research around men versus women, what they want. We talked about the MAGA man dating, and we talked about women and patriarchy and wanting to be selected because men are protectors. But every 10 minutes, a woman is being unalived by an intimate partner, by a partner they know. Men, particularly men are taking women's lives. Let's be very clear. And this is a global phenomenon. Intimate partners and men who are family members are taking the lives of women, while women are running around talking about they are looking for a partner to protect them, while you are more likely to be killed by your partner than anyone else. That's wild. This is not to talk about, let's say, abuse more generally. We're talking about homicide. The disappearing of women is not even included in this UN report. South Africa is the rape capital of the world. Why? Femicide has to deal with this idea that women are to be owned by men. We're going to get into Christianity because Christianity, I believe, in contemporary society lays the foundation, the groundwork for this idea that women are somehow under men and belong to men, and that men can do and lead and control women. And yes, people are like, oh, that's in marriage. No, it extends beyond that. And we're going to have a problem if we're not going to be honest about the ways in which women are expected to behave versus men. The socialization that also comes from sort of biblical principle in the Western world. The underreporting of homicide and disappearing of women is also a problem. Police do not take the crisis surrounding women seriously, whether that is abuse. There were reports coming out, women explaining their experiences with going to the police about intimate partner violence and abuse generally. And one of the main things that police kept saying, as if written in a script for all police officers, not all, but a lot of police officers, is it physical? Did it become physical yet? What do you mean, did it become physical yet? This again brings us to the idea that men need to buy in and need to want the system to change. But people do not give up power easily. Men are defensive when the topic comes up, even when they never killed anyone in their life. Why? Why are you defensive? Oh, you don't want to do anything. Acknowledging this reality means you will have to speak up, means that you will have to separate yourself from the larger male community, and they might actually hate you. You don't want to give up that brotherhood. You lean into that brotherhood and then provide cover for the degeneracy that exists within said brotherhood. That is toxic. And every single time we bring up Black femicide, some idiot jumps up talking about, oh my God, there's a war on men, the war on men, this is the war. We don't care nothing about a war on men. Until you see women killing men, I don't want to hear it. Are men dying at the hands of women? No. Okay, so the war on men is being perpetrated by other men. Okay, look, we can talk about this. But right now, we're talking about the war on women. We're talking about femicide. The normalization of aggression against women is so deep that even some women believe that it is okay. Christianity and ownership over women's body, I think, are part and parcel of what we exist under, the system. I do think we have a responsibility to get women involved and men involved. But one, we need women to buy in, and two, we need men to buy in. And if women, here's the problem. Because we're going to talk about Tradwife. I think Tradwife is next. Yeah, Tradwife is next. Perfect. Line up great. It is wild to me that women are literally talking about going back to the home, not getting a job, not having their own financial independence, and being subject to a man's rule, with all this research about who is more likely to cause you harm. That is insane to me. That is absolutely insane. Let me guess. Vetting. If you vet, you can figure it out. So if women don't believe in femicide and don't engage with femicide, and men who would be put under scrutiny are are hearing about femicide, who do you think, like, if women can't accept it, right, about femicide and the truth there, I'm trying to figure out how we going to expect the perpetrators to really engage with it meaningfully. Ron Intel said 2 hour mark. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. I actually really do appreciate that. PJ, thank you. I appreciate that. God created and ordained divorce. Sure did. Sure did. So I do fundamentally have a problem with this idea that, oh, I'm just going to give up complete autonomy over my well-being and the well-being of my child in an effort to be subject to a man's rule. This is coming up now as a paid part of conservative media to get women to opt out of the labor market. And I get it. Let me level. I get it. It is hard out here for a pimp when he's trying to get the money for the rent. Like, it is hard. Capitalism is hard. Paying these bills is hard. Like, I get it. No arguments here. Ain't nobody want to be going to work and slaving away for a company that would care less about you if you could not care less about you if something were to happen to you. They just find your replacement gone. Automation comes in, you're gone, no one cares. Yeah, these bills got to be paid though. You need freedom. And I'm not saying if you would give up freedom for a false sense of security, you should not get security or freedom. Like, I would never say that. Benjamin Franklin can go to hell. But I do think that you should think about what it is that you're willing to give up for your freedom, right? I don't think freedom is something that we should be trading so willingly and freely for this false sense of security, particularly when statistically the person most likely to harm you is the person you live with and who is close to you. It is easier for you to leave when you have the resources financially to do so. And a lot of these men don't even go to school. The same survey that we were reading just now about Gen Z highlighted that these men not going to school. Gen Z is still not going to school, girl. So these providers are non-existent. And yeah, the thing is, I think a lot of women know this because you're going to go 50-50. The chances are, if you date, marry, engage, whatever, you're going to go 50-50. It is what it is. That's the statistic. You're going to pay something, right? So this idea that, oh, I'm going to submit, I'm going to give up this, I'm going to give up that. No, it's not realistic. Stop buying into these ideas because it starts as these like conversation, the Overton window shifts. We now are having these conversations acting like it's normal to say, oh my God, why do you want to go to work? Go home. Ain't nobody want to go to work. We just want to live at home. It was better when we were at home and could not work. Why? Think about this. Why would any woman get on a microphone and tell the world that they hate feminism and they wish that women did not have to work? The have to is a lie. You don't actually have to work. These women are pandering pygmies who have nothing to do with their lives, and so they're trying to make money online. You don't have to work. You could literally choose not to work. They're trying to make money and provide for their families, telling you a lie about some foolishness. Like, if you don't want to work, don't work and see what happens. No one is telling you have to work. They know they need to work. You don't have to. If you want to survive, you do need to do it. But you can choose to not go with the feminists as if feminism is not about choice. They're online working, selling you a fantasy about giving up your freedom, your degree, your money to go be under a man. In a world where a lot of people losing their jobs, economy is tough, there's inflation, which man you think gonna pay for all of this? God was against the putting away. So the trad wives. I do not want anything that I'm saying to seem like I am against people coming together, right? If you want to be married, go be married. But we are lying to ourselves. And I say it, I think that the idea that two becomes one in marriage is not true. And I think we all know it. I think it's a lie. And so we settle in our minds for, oh, this is about tradition. And we don't really do any deep thoughts about like why your children, that kids you carry for 9 months, birth into this world, give life to, is going to have someone else's name. Why your name is no longer your name in the way that you've lived with it for most of your life until you got married. And I do actually appreciate the brave women who come out and unabashedly say, tell the truth, and marvel in their position as wife and what that means historically and why their name changed to their husbands and their child has their husband's name. Like, at least those people are honest about this. The feminists who get married and have children and change their name and their child name, they're liars. They're liars. They're lying. The feminists will lie and pretend they don't know what taking on his name or someone else's name means. I just want my child. This is what one of them told me, and I was so annoyed. And by the way, this is how I am in my real life. Like, and so I be getting in arguments. I just wanted my children and I to have the same name. So why didn't you just give them yours? Why did you take his? You want your children and you to have the same name. That's the excuse you give me because you think I'm an idiot, right? You think I'm an idiot. So why didn't you give your children your name? And also, why did you take his name before you had children? Don't play with me. Don't play in my face. At least stand in your truth and tell me you don't care about my opinion. Your dusty fruitcake themist, I don't care nothing about what you got to say, period. I'll shut up. But don't lie to me. You know what you did. Like, people pretend they don't know why Malcolm exchanged his name to X, his last name to X. You are unaware of the fact that slaves did not have last names. A lot of slaves did not get to have last names. We're going to pretend we didn't know that. That slaves, individuals often had only first names assigned to them by enslavers, as surnames were not always deemed necessary because they were property. Like, in a lot of cases, enslaved people were given the surname of their enslavers. Oh, but you're going to pretend that this is not about ownership. Just going like, oh my God, no, I just, tradition. No, you're lying. You know you're lying. Okay, if it's just about tradition and it's not significant, have him take your name. No, he's not going to do that. How about you not take his name? Oh my God, how about I hyphenate it? How about don't take it at all? By the way, I'm not telling you what to do, but I am not telling you what to do. Let me be very clear. I am not telling, I just don't like people lying to me. I don't like people lying to me. I don't like people lying generally. I don't like liars. Like, you know what you're doing. You're subjugating yourself. And in a world that is trying to strip you of your freedom, your autonomy, your personhood, that is trying to diminish you, if, and this is the big if it doesn't apply to you, let it fly. Like, it doesn't apply to you. But if you are saying, I want to be whole. I want to be seen as a whole human being who has autonomy and is equal to the other person that I'm with. You don't take that person's name. And yes, I do drag people, every woman in my family. There are 0 women in my family. I think my mom hyphenated her name because there was a problem there. There was a huge problem. But even her, I argue with absolutely every single one. Everyone in my family I've argued with about this prior to now, ever since I was a child. And if child themists can pick up on this, you all know it too. You are being property. You are being treated as property. Ain't no other way around it. Like, why are you pretending like, oh, I'm not just signing up to be a property? You are. Like, what do you mean? I am sick and tired of this tradwi foolishness. Selling any idea that women today should give up their freedom, I believe is asinine. I actually think you should be taking more rights, more freedom, more autonomy, and stand firm against this disgusting, repugnant system that seeks to deprive you of your personhood. Like, if you're not doing that, I don't know what to tell you. The little you have in terms of who you are is for you to keep, not for you to give it up and trade it in order to secure. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I thought when people tasted freedom, they do not want to go back. Why are there women at the front of saying women should not have the right to vote? And also, why are there women in the comments agreeing with this instead of dragging? I hope these are bots. Y'all really, for Gen Z, please note that Gen Z men put having children above emotional stability and gaining employment. Like, that's it. Like, please note that these men are putting having children because they don't have to take care of them, but they're putting that above emotional stability and gaining employment. Also, the tradwife thing is not fully real. These men are broke. Brokely broke. You will have to work even if you don't want to. Why would you ever trust someone else to do that for you when you can do that for yourself, i.e., provide? Yes, I believe in dating up. Let me be clear. I believe in date up all you want, but please be able to be independent on your own. That is wild. Framing your value as a woman in terms of your ability to serve your husband and your family is disgusting and degenerate to me. Now, I'm not saying you should not serve your children and care for your children and your family. I'm not saying that, but to put everything as what you are into that sets you up for a lot of. If you find a good man, period, find him first. Show me how you're gonna find him. Show me how you're gonna find him. Because this tradwife aesthetics, the sourdough baking in a sundress, homesteading, and the feminine urge to be a nurturer, and this painting of this idyllic picture of domestic bliss, trash. It does not exist. It's never existed. It did not exist in the 1990s. And even if we go to the 1950s, by the way, where there was a kind of unique post World War II condition where we had like a widespread social programs, affordable housing, union jobs that support a single income household. We ain't got it today. It does not exist today. If you think it exists, you're lying. Now, I'm not saying no person can find it. Like, there are some rich men out there that are good for you. Find them, good for you. But it's historically inaccurate. Women prior to the 1950s were working alongside having domestic duties, especially if you were poor or black. The aesthetics is skewed, it's not real. Also, there is a broader sort of vulnerability and abusive dynamic that exists with stay-at-home wives. Not only are they reporting feeling trapped, you don't have anywhere to go, you don't have any money, and so when one, he's cheating, you stay, and even if he's not cheating but abusing you, you also stay. In a world of economic pressures, and let's call them evolving norms, right? Working, whatever. True legitimacy comes from you having options, not ideals imposed on you because you are a woman, not ideals imposed on half the population about what you should and should not be. Your decisions are yours to make, not for people to tell you what to do. Like, come on. In a world of economic pressures and evolving norms, again, I think it is important that you understand who you are. The men want you to make money and be a stay-at-home wife. I don't know how you're going to do that. Now, these men lashing out because women are out here trying to survive and saying, look, if you're going to come correct or don't come at all. And now they're out here blaming feminism and the sexual revolution. Sorry, this is not funny, but it is kind of funny. These men are literally out here blaming the sexual revolution. The trad wife is the equivalent to living under the law. By the way, I haven't seen anyone come up. So for the person who's wrote that I won't let them up, that it's not true. The link is at the top. By the way, please feel free to come up and tell me that I'm wrong. I don't mind. These are my views. And I'm unabashedly putting my views out in the world. So, in the absence of material means to demand women's cooperation, I'm trying to phrase this properly. Men are appealing to norms, religion, biology, and even societal destruction to get women to acquiesce to their whim. Here is a woman without an argument speaking nonstop about women needing to be controlled by men because women should not have the right to choose who they want to be sexual with. I'm gonna play this for you. Let me pull this up.
And Louise, maybe we'll start with you. You've written against the sexual revolution. Now, I presume by that you don't.
And that's a traitor immediately. Immediately. What do you mean you've written against the sexual revolution? What do you mean? What do you mean you've written against the sexual revolution? Go, what way? On TikTok, Instagram, and podcast, there's a common narrative that men are paying all the bills. In reality, this is not the average. Most households in the US and globally rely on dual income. Yes, Dash. Yes, these men lying. These men have a tendency to sort of romanticize something and then project their own lived experience onto that thing that they've never experienced. It is one of the strangest, most disgusting, diabolical thing ever.
Mean against sex? You mean against what and for what as an alternative?
So, I mean, I would define the sexual revolution in two ways. You know, one aspect of it is material. It's the introduction of the pill. It's all the technological changes that we've seen over the over the course of the 20th and 21st centuries that has transformed our lives and transformed gender relations. It's also ideological, though, and I think this is the meat of what we're talking about. I think that the neatest way of understanding the ideology of the sexual revolution is the rejection of traditional sexual norms. The idea that we can just throw them out the window and have one very simple rule, which is that everyone should be able to consent. And then apart from that, you sort of make it up as you go along. And I think what we've discovered is that that doesn't work. That actually, there was a line actually a reader sent to me from all places from a book about winemaking. It would be a very politically explosive thing to say in any other context, but in a book about winemaking, you can say it. And the line was, traditions are experiments that worked. Mm-hmm. And I think
that she thought she ate, but that is one of the most disgusting, but also one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in terms of advocacy for something, for traditionalism. Right? When she says traditions are experiments that work, does she include genital mutilation? Does she include racial issues and homophobia? Is this like the idea that because something is tradition, that it works is wild, dumb, like useless, and the fact that these people are supposed to be smart on a stage and no one is engaging with how dumb that take is. You know how many things that were once traditional that got thrown out because, well, maybe we shouldn't be binding our feet. maybe we shouldn't be going crippled in order to have smaller feet. Like, it means absolutely nothing, Selena. Selena, it means nothing. Absolutely useless. Just like this conversation. Because, like, they're talking about the sexual revolution being destructive to society, where the sexual revolution is about the introduction of the pill and women being able to consent to who they want to sleep with. So what they're saying is women should not have the right to consent. Who should decide for the woman then?
we've found from having rejected all of the sexual norms and laws of the past is that they were there for a reason. And
they were there for a reason. Yes, to control women, we know. Unless you're going to provide another reason and explain that reason. You can't just say, those norms were there for a reason around women's sexuality. We know, idiot. We know. Like,
and I mean, I argued very strongly in my book and in my work that the winners of the sexual revolution have not been women in general. Maybe some individuals, you know, I think some.
The winners of sexual revolution have not been women. So women getting a choice to have sex or have children, take birth control, aren't the winners of the sexual revolution. Who is? I bet you she won't. I know this, by the way, I watched, but I'm just going to pretend I didn't and say, I bet you she won't outright say men. She can outright say men because to say that would be to say men are winning, and she can't do that because she's pandering to men. So she has to create some justification to say men aren't really winning as by way of the sexual revolution. So no one won in the sexual revolution. A good stance, except women having the ability to consent and to, because when they think about the sexual revolution, people just generally think about, oh my God, women just can be able to sleep with whoever they want. It also allows them to say no to people like, I don't know, their husbands. My Body, My Choice was not just about sleeping with people. It's also about telling people, even those that you're legally bound to through marriage, that, yeah, no, you can't do this.
I think some individual men have definitely done well out of the sexual revolution, although not all men. You know, it's a complicated story when we're talking.
It's a complicated story when we talk about, but yeah, because you couldn't do it. You couldn't even stand in the fact that you thought men were winning, because part of her story is that, oh, actually, it's harming some men. The good men are harmed and the bad men are doing well. Shut up. Useless. I would love to talk to this woman. Love to. This is one of the women that I would love to drag, talk to. Face to face.
About men and women, but I think what's clearly true is that the great losers of the sexual revolution have been children.
So one of the things we might, in an effort to tie these sorts of things together, one of the things we might.
Sorry, I'm not going to listen to this whole panel. Not going to do it because they done pissed me off. I wanted to listen to some of it and skip around. Ultimately, they're using women to advocate for this. Thus, the idea that the sexual revolution was bad for women. They do not give us an example of how the sexual revolution was bad for women. One, they do not do that at all. Not only do they not do this, they provide us no alternative to the idea that women should be able to consent to whoever they want to have sex with, so long as it's legal, right? That is the premise that they rely on, that consent is somehow bad, that women being able to give consent is somehow bad. But they do not explain this, they do not get in depth, and they do not give us an alternative at all, ever. So the whole thing is useless. And Jordan Peterson with his hair transplant, he ate that up, by the way. Them hair transplant, girl, transplanting gray hair is nasty and diabolical work, but he ate that up. I don't know who told him to wear these suits. It's not my girl, period. Do you? Do you? I'm trying to figure out because I watched something in my Discord, and they said I told my Discord that I would in fact watch it on here, and I'm trying to figure out if I have enough time to do 2 videos that I have or just do the one. And I feel like I should just do the one. All right, I'm just going to do the one. Let's do benevolent patriarchy.
I'm going to get a little close.
I won't have enough time, so I have to do this. Sorry, guys.
Point out is that
all right. Do both. I can't do both. I promised my Discord. Well, we are supposed to be watching Noah's Ark, but it don't look like we're going to be watching Noah's Ark. But I promised them that I will not stay past 3 hours. And these people pissed me off a lot. So we are going to watch. Now, I think part of the biggest issue with patriarchy has to do with Christianity. Christianity provide the basis, again, the groundwork, the pillars for patriarchy to thrive. Part of that is women being delusional. Part of that is women being delusional. And the way you do that is through religious psychosis. My theory is that if you get women to be Christians in particular, by the way, as a Christian, it is one of the hardest things to say because I don't know how a woman becomes and stays a Christian without pedestalizing men. I don't think that's a possibility. I don't think that is possible. To be both a Christian and self-actualized and I don't know. So I just say go be an a la carte Christian. Believe in God, love God, but do what you want. Not do what you want, like within limits, obviously. But so let's hear these two talk about it. I was going to talk, they did a video on sex, but it was too annoying for me and it became too problematic. So I'm going to do this one.
baby.
You feeling good?
I'm feeling good.
Man, we got the good stuff today.
Let's go.
Are you ready?
I'm ready for it.
Welcome to Doing Life with Ken and Tabitha. We are so pumped that you're here, and we have a doozy for you today. We want to talk about biblical submission, what it is and what it ain't.
The S word.
The S word, specifically out of Ephesians, where it says, wives, submit to your husbands.
Wow.
We want to unpack this word, submission. We want to talk about what it is, what it ain't, what it feels like, how to properly apply it to our life, and also the benefit of it. You know, if you're newer to our show, welcome. Our job or desire is to.
The way I can tell a pastor, like, there is always this like scamming. Let me leave that alone. It's fine.
Create an online community that we can just do life with. You know that you're not alone. We're praying for you. If you enjoy our content, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. We believe that sharing is caring and caring is sharing. Share this message. There's people all over the world who needs to understand biblical submission, and we are here to help today. And
the way I stopped getting lineups, I hate my way to speak now. I used to love it as a child, but America has told me not to. The way I stopped getting lineup because my barber kept pushing my hair back, like my hairline back here. And girl, we gonna have problems because the last time my barber pushed my hair back here and then have this black thing. And so my hair was like here, and then this black thing was like he made here because I had to wash. I can't. I ain't getting a new barber. It is one of the worst things in the world. Demas, I'll take my feminism with a side of Christianity, please. Closes menu. Period. Period. Same. Oparia, you've been a member for 17 months. Thank you so much. By the way, for members, we're going to have a lot of... The thing is, I make membership videos, and then it's public, and then I feel really bad about making them members because I don't want people to think they have to be members to watch them. And so I get weirded out about making videos that was public, members only. But please note, I'm going to just go through. I think that you've all had enough time to watch all the videos that I wanted you to see and that I put forward. Pretty much all of them about to be members only, just FYI. Yeah. So I don't know if he was jealous, but he did say something that I did not like. I used to think it was a compliment when people say, "Oh my God, you have good hair." And I've since realized that by saying that, you are also implying that other hairs are like bad or whatever. So like there was this thing that he did that I found really annoying. He's no longer my barber, so I don't have to talk about it. But like, I don't like it.
So Tabitha, let's start off with a definition for our audience. How would you define submission in your own?
I have never met a woman named Tabitha ever in my life that was not a I will retire my husband type woman. I've never seen it.
Words.
In my own words, submission is a choice.
Okay.
And it's choosing to allow someone else to be an authority.
Choosing to allow someone else. Now you say it's a choice. How I would define it is I would break the word submission, and it means to come under another person's mission.
Oh, that's good.
What do you feel about that definition?
I like it. Yeah.
To submit. And so there are certain relationships. What relationships does the Bible tell us to submit to? We got the husband and wife piece, but I would say there's other relationships.
Yeah. Your law enforcement, government, governing authorities, teachers, pastors, spiritual leaders.
Yeah. So we all, no matter if you're husband, wife, man, woman, boy, girl, old, young, we really have to learn submission because it's a very important part of our walk with Jesus. Why do you think submission is so important?
I think without submission.
Here's another dumb response. Like, this is so stupid. This is one of the top 10 dumbest. Not her. I'm not calling her dumb. I'm saying this justification is one of the top 10 dumbest justification for submission I've ever heard. Ready? She's going to explain why submission is important. Ready? Let's go. She is really pretty.
And I'm not sure if anything would ever get done because one person says, I want to do it this way. One person says, I want to do it that way. And you can continue to fight against one another. If you take, for example, our government, we have the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And often, in my opinion, we just don't get a lot done because we're not getting anything done. And then what we do get done, another party gets in office and we undo what has been done
She thinks you need submission because without submission, you don't get anything done. Or, hear me out. You could get your idea, the other person get their idea, and debate those ideas, and the person with the better idea would win out for that thing. You could say, on this thing you're better, and that thing I am better. The fact that there are 50-50 partnerships that exist means that you can get things done in a partnership. I'm talking about in corporate law, right? But then the example she gave is that there is a Democrat and a Republican, and we don't get anything done. And so one should submit to the other because when one makes a rule, the other comes in and undo it. Are you saying you want a dictatorship? Are you saying you want a dictatorship? Are you saying democracy, instead of introducing other options, other parties, you're saying you want to limit it to one party ruling supreme? So you're saying North Korea, you were like feeling like a little North Korea-esque, a little China-esque, a little Russia-esque, little Cuba. Like, what do you mean? Anyway, I think she thought it was a good idea to say it in her head. I don't know why she said it out loud.
Nothing gets done. Right. We just want to move forward.
Right. And I mean, I can appreciate that in the democracy that we have balancing forces.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
But honestly,
don't say absolutely. Don't say absolutely because you literally just rejected the two-party system. Why you saying absolutely though? Why did you just say absolutely after he contradicted you very directly? What he just politely said is, that sounds dumb. Having a two-party system, a balancing system in a democracy is actually good for a democracy. What do you mean absolutely? You just rejected that and say how dumb it was and that one of them should just submit. Yes, that one of them should just submit.
that's not a great way to run a church, and it's not a great way to run a family.
Your family.
It's not a great way to run anything that you want to be healthy, because at the center of it, it's contention. So,
yes, Obi. Hey, Obi, by the way, the man sees the benefit of balance in government, but not in. Yeah, he just outrightly said, yeah, that's great for the government, but not in the home. This is just wild to me, and this seems like a good enough relationship, and even in it, it's trash. Like, who are you submitting to? Why?
Mission says that there is a clear authority, and then somebody has to bow the knee to that authority, and somebody has to come under the mission, and that's really when you get things done.
Absolutely.
Think about it. Every team.
Someone wrote Harmacy. Someone wrote Harmacy in the chat. His cadence gives exactly that. A hotep. And I don't like people talking to me like that, so it would have been a no immediately. Immediately. Like, it's almost like he's like, you are my student. There is this like, you are my child, you are my student. I'm asking you a question, ask and answer, call and response. I'm going to cut you off when I'm cutting you off. Like, you're just here for me to bounce my idea off of your opinions aren't relevant, but I'm making you think it's relevant because he cuts her off whenever he feels like, does not apologize for cutting her off, just keeps talking. It's his framing. It's very weird. But I mean, she's submitting, so I mean, this is a submissive queen. She's a submissive queen, so period.
Team has a coach and it has players, and if the player.
And yes, I just sped him up because I can't. She did not need to be. It's funny because I can actually listen to her speak without any issue. His cadence is like it's giving that hotep around the corner that wants to sell you something, and I can't. So I'm gonna need to speed him up.
Don't want to run the offense of the coach, you can never win a championship. Every army has generals, it has soldiers. If the soldiers want to go out in the field and do whatever, you're going to get destroyed in battle. Every church has a pastor and it has parishioners. If everybody wants to do their own thing, you can never win as many people as what you could in your city, because submission is a very important part. But for some reason, I feel like it has been misdefined. It has been misunderstood. And for many people, it's actually been rejected. Like, I don't want to hear about submission. I don't want to think about submission. Why do you think that is?
It's probably.
First of all, they said submission has been misdefined, and then they go on to define it exactly the way that we've all defined it. Exactly the way we've all defined it.
Probably been abused.
Okay.
It's been abused, and one bad thing, somebody can have one bad experience and never, if you go to a restaurant, and you have a bad experience, you're probably never going to go back there again.
Right.
I wouldn't.
Right.
And so some people have.
And what is wrong with that? Let's say the bad experience was assault or whatever. Like, women are going through a lot. You're like, oh my God, they just have one bad experience and so they don't want to submit anymore. You said it's a choice. They're choosing not to. What's the problem? So you don't believe it's a choice. You want to force women into submission? Huh? I thought you said it was a choice. You no longer believe it's a choice, or is it a choice that they have to make? You do realize that's no longer a choice if you think they should and have to make that choice, right? Like you get that.
Have bad experiences and they use that, they throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right. Yeah, I would encourage people never do that, never to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because there has been leadership that might have not been good leadership doesn't mean that the principles of submission isn't needed. Or
why would you want someone to lead you if it's not been good in the past and you can do it yourself? Like, you literally are talking about being able to do it yourself, period. Amen. Good. Why would you then go find someone else to do it when you can do it yourself and you've gone through pain? You can just do it yourself. Like, y'all are not selling the submission thing. Y'all need a better submission PR. The church need better submission PR, people.
even beneficial.
Yeah.
Now, the scripture says that wives submit themselves to their husbands. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I mean, okay, so before you said that, I think that submission to the reason why people don't like it, and it's been, such a dirty word sometimes, is that I believe it's a plan of the enemy. Because when there's no unity, people are divided.
Right.
And if no one's going to submit to one another,
it's the plan of the enemy. When there's no unity, people are divided. Tell me more. Tell me more about how the absence of unity is divide. Tell me. Explain.
I think it's great. I mean, okay, so before you said that, I think that submission to the reason why people don't like it, and it's been, such a dirty word sometimes, is that I believe it's a plan of the enemy. Because when there's no unity, people are divided.
Right.
And if no one's going to submit,
I don't understand why that's when there's no unity, people are divided, as opposed to what? Anyway, it's fine.
to one another, there is no unity. It's all division.
Right.
And when we unify and come together, that's when strength happens. A threefold cord cannot be destroyed.
Right.
And so,
mind you, unity is you going under your husband and taking his name and giving up your will to bend to his will. In corporate law, that's not a merger. That is actually a takeover. That's not like, it is becoming one, but you're being taken into something else. It's not a unifying kind of coming together. It's not a partnership. Definitely not equal. It's definitely a takeover. It's not a merger. It's a takeover. But go off, sis.
A house divided against itself cannot stand.
Right.
And I think as husband and wife, we, it's really a plan of the enemy too, to keep us separated.
Well, I think that when some people hear the word submission, they hear slavery. I say submission.
So submission is a choice, but if you don't choose to be submissive or submit, it's the plan of the enemy and you're the devil. Got it. So it's a choice. You either submit and be godly or don't submit and you're the devil. Got it. So it's a choice between God and the devil. Cool. When she said, oh, it's a choice, she didn't actually mean it. If you're a Christian, you need to submit. Mind you, Paul said it's better to be single than married, but okay.
But you hear slavery.
Wow.
But submission is not slavery. So if you submit to me, it's not because I'm trying to control you and rule you. I'm actually trying to protect you. And if I submit to you, it's not because I'm giving you the authority to control me as a slave.
Right.
And I think it's really been misdefined because real biblical submission is not slavery.
Absolutely.
It takes maturity to submit. And it actually takes two equals to submit. So if the
No. Where you got that? Where did you get that it takes two equals to submit? Where did you get that? Because they were just talking about everyone submit. We all have to submit. There's law enforcement you submit to a job, submit to. You're not equal to those people in those contexts. You can actually, when slaves submitted, were they equal to their masters?
Bible says, wives, submit to your husbands. It's not a place of weakness. It's actually a place of strength because you have to be mature to be able to bow the knee.
Exactly.
You have to be mature to bend the knee. Okay, you do it. If it is about strength, you do it. You bend the knee, girl. The women are saying they're not strong, they're dainty. So if it needs strength to do it, you do it. Because y'all just sitting out there lying.
Easy to have contention. It's easy to bump heads. It's easy to come up against everything your leader is saying. And I want to go this way and you want to go. That's fleshy and it's easy. It takes maturity. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Yeah. And so when I hear, like you asked about the Bible scripture and, wives submit to their husbands, that never really bothered me because I've never really had a problem with submission. I think it could be because
right in the comments, she said, I've never really had a problem with submission. I'm gonna need y'all to write that because he about to drag her for filth in a minute. Like, I'm not mature. I thought we were the weaker vessel. How are we strong enough to right? She said, I've never had a problem with submission. I was waiting for someone to write.
Because my perspective is no one can make me submit. No one can make me do anything. It has always been an act of my will to submit. And when it says that wives submit to your husband, I'm thinking of my husband as somebody that I love. I wouldn't have married you if I didn't trust you. I wouldn't have married you if I didn't think that you had, the God's heart toward me. And so I think that you are a man of God. That's why I married you and I trusted you, to that degree. So when I read the scripture, I find safety in the scripture to say, okay, well, I can do that. I'm not threatened by it. I don't feel like you're going to, I don't know, make me do something I don't want to do or.
Well, maybe not in our relationship 23 years into it, but have you ever had a problem with submitting before?
She said, I have never had a problem with submission. Why would your husband in a recording then ask you, have you ever had a problem with submission before? Why would he ask you that? And why didn't she pick up on the fact that he thinks that she has had a problem with submission before? Mind you, before his last night, in his mind, before his last night, he about to tell her why he dead wrong for it. What he's about to say is dumb, useless, unimportant. But your husband heard you say, I've never had a problem with submission as a woman. I am better than other girls. I'm not like those other girls. I am just that girl. I got submission on lock and key. I am the submission girl. I am the queen of submission. Never had a problem with submission. I'm just that submissive queen. You said that. And right then, your husband is going to look at you and ask, have you ever had a problem with submission before? Why would he do that? And she does not pick up on the fact that he is hinting at you have. I had to train you how to be submissive. Like,
Not really.
You don't think so?
Tell me.
You should ask me.
not really. You should ask me if nasty work. If nasty work. Have you ever had a problem with submission? I don't think so. Really? You should ask me. How about absolutely not? How about absolutely? Yo, one thing these men gonna do is embarrass you. You got haughty. You were like, girl, these other girls don't know how to submit. I am that submissive girly. I can submit left, right, and So I'm creating a lecture series in my mind, and this was supposed to be at the end of the lecture. And I wanted more people to come in and participate and for it to be more back and forth. Please don't be afraid of me. Come in, tell me I'm wrong, tell me why I'm wrong. I will always respect you. But here we are. But I found this because we're talking about submission and women willingly, gleefully giving up their autonomy instead of like holding on to self-actualization.
Okay, do you think I've had a problem submitting?
Heck yeah.
You are not
I'm telling you
the truth.
I am telling you the truth.
Okay, tell me more.
Okay.
See, lady, you won't even submit. Right now, you're not submitting. You are not being submissive. As the submissive queen that you are not submitting right now. You're not submitting. What do you mean? Submit to him now and accept his truth. His truth is now your truth. Don't worry, he's gonna catch himself and he won't say anything provocative.
Hi, there you go.
Look at that smile. This is that church lady smile where they're embarrassed, but they're like putting on a front so that people don't pick up on the fact that they're embarrassed. I know it all too well.
Family meeting right on the air.
Here we go.
Yeah, there has been times, and I think I've mentioned to you that I feel like, actually, so we just had this thing last night where,
not last night. So she's trying to go think back in her head when she's not been submissive, and this man says last night. But it's one of the dumbest examples of submission ever. He's about to bring up one of the most degenerate. This man is about to explain why you should not submit to men and that they want complete authority and they want to be dictators, and you absolutely do not get to question anything that they say. That is what he's about to explain. Sit close, get your popcorn, come close and listen to this foolishness. Now listen to exactly what he's about to say.
One of our children, he's 11 years old, and I've always had this rule that I don't want our kids to watch PG-13 movies until they're 13. Now, I came up this way, and I remember when I was 10, 11, man, everybody gets to go watch these movies. Why can't I? Why can't I? Why can't I? But then, as an adult, I look back and I say, thank you, parents, for keeping me safe from certain movies and certain things that I really didn't need in my heart and eyes at that age. And I'm always amazed at the people that just allow their children, they're like 3 years old, and they can just watch whatever.
By the way, this is so dumb. This is one of the stupidest rules that anyone can ever have. Like, first of all, you should watch a movie and figure out if you determine that is something that your child should watch. These studio and studio execs do not tell you what your children should and should not watch. You might actually think some of the things that they approve for your child is not good for your child to watch. But because you are going by what they say, you just make some arbitrary rule like you're an idiot. Like, why would you just make up a random arbitrary rule? If your child want to watch a movie, you can pre-screen the movie and figure out if they should or should not watch it, regardless of what the studio says. But okay, girl, period. That's not the problem.
But you don't have the same conviction about this PG-13 stuff that I do.
Right.
You would rather it be parental guidance. Like, he can maybe watch this movie, maybe not that one. Let me see it first.
Up to my parental.
Right. For me.
By the way, this is actually my position. Her position is my position. He's like, just a blanket. Oh, if it says PG-13, then you can't watch it. Okay, that's dumb. So if it doesn't say PG, like if you says, okay, your child can watch it, you just let him watch. You're not gonna pre-screen it. When said girls submit. Girls submit.
It's just that this is the rule. And I think we've probably went back forth on this one for a couple of years about. And then last night we had this conversation, and it starts off with contention. Because to me, I'm like, why do we got to talk about this again? I've already told you my heart on this. I've told you my perspective on this. It is my job as a man to make sure that my son specifically has different perspectives. So you got the girls, I got this boy, I know what he needs.
That is wild. I got the boy, you got the girl is nasty work as a father of 3, but period. Do you? I ain't got no kids, don't know how to do these children. I ain't got it. So period.
And at the end of the day, I kind of feel like that was a little bit of maybe not submitting to me. But you would probably look at it differently.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would look at it as disagreeing.
Mind you, he said, you brought this back up to me to ask me to explain myself. How dare you? You're not submitting. What? What? A conversation about a rule you make is too much for you. Therefore, you have labeled her that she's not submitting in that moment when she's asking you to clarify or explain or re-explain something that she does not understand about a rule you made for their child. She has not let the child watch the movie. She just wanted you to tell her why again. And you were like, I've told you I ain't going to do it again. That kind of submission, even in their dusty arrangement, is trash, and it's a dictatorship. It is. Everything they say after this point is absolutely useless. FYI. Everything they say after this point about submitting one to another, it's not like I control you or make, none of that is meaningful. The example they gave highlight what he believes submission is, which is her unquestioningly following his order. That is it.
Has he watched a PG-13 movie?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, he has not.
All right.
So therefore, I do submit to you.
She does not have a submissive bone in her body. Let's just be very clear. When someone look to you and say, has he watched a PG-13 movie since you told me that? That is a rebellious spirit. That is a rebellion. That is a rebellion. That is a rebellious spirit. That is a rebellious spirit. I live for it. I live for this. But that's a rebellious spirit. Look at this. This is wild to ask him a rhetorical question like this. It's not even that rhetorical. It required an answer. That is She's dragging him, girl. Have you ever done that? You keep talking about I am submissive. You keep telling me I'm not submissive, but did he ever watch a movie? Did he ever do it? Okay, so I'm submitting to you. Okay, then shut up. That is wild. That is wild. Period. Drag him.
To me.
Mm-hmm.
But you would probably look at it differently.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would look at it as disagreeing because has he watched a PG-13 movie?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, he has not.
All right.
Period. You better let him know. You better let him know submissively with a smile.
All right.
So therefore, I do submit to you. I disagree with you, and we keep having conversations.
Period. It's giving passive aggressive submission. It's giving. You said he is passive aggressive. He is passive aggressive, but she giving passive aggressive. Look at the way I did not see this in the Discord while I was watching it is nasty work. It's nasty work. Period.
About it because I don't understand it. I just don't get this. Talk to me again. Don't get upset with me, but I know we had this conversation before, but you need to talk to me again because I don't get this.
Okay.
And he's coming to me with this stuff. So no, I don't agree, but I have submitted and will continue to submit if you're like, you know what, as the husband and the leader of this family, I think this is what's best for our son. I will continue to submit.
Well, that's interesting.
I will continue to submit, but I'm going to bring it up every time because I need you to explain. But even if you don't explain, I'm still going to submit. But if you don't explain, which you have not explained to my satisfaction, I'm going to bring it up again. I'm going to continue. I will continue. I'm going to submit. I'm going to submit. But I'm going to need some answers. Period. Well, not period, because he's still submitting, but period for bringing it up. And he can't explain. The thing is, what she's trying to communicate here is you have not given me a reasonable explanation as to why you have this dumb rule, and I am following this dumb idiotic rule that you have, and instead of explaining it to me, I'm being told to just follow it and have my child do this or do that, and you are not giving me a reason. So I'm going to do what you say, but I will not let you live it down. I'm gonna bring it up every single time I get a chance to, because how dare you? His haircut speaks to his mentality. She is submitting to her higher self and redirecting this man as she would her son. Yeah, carry up in Ian. Man. I will submit the most papers to the court. The submission does not come with an explanation. Questioning is not submitting. I believe it's submitting. I believe it's a type of submission. It's like you are going to ultimately do what he said you should do, but you also want to feel comfortable in your decision to do it. I don't know.
So what that conclusion brings me back to is that some people define submission wrong.
Yeah.
And there's a man who's beating his chest saying, obey me, I'm the man, do what I say, do what I say. But you didn't marry a slave. You married some.
Yeah, who this man talking to? I feel like he's talking to himself, because you're agreeing with your wife now, but you brought that up as an example of her not submitting. So you just wanted her to do what you told her to do and not question you again about the thing that you told her to do. You are the one you're talking to just now. You're agreeing with her, ignoring the fact that she was confronting a dusty talking point that you brought up. You are talking about yourself right now, about the being the dusty dictator. Like, you're talking, oh my God. Part-time submission is so heavy. The Bible tells a husband and wife to submit equally yoked and led. God led head and helpmeet walking together, and that part, what Paul said, he eludes being equally yoked is hard to obtain. Who are people submitting to and why? Absolutely no one. Hopefully, y'all not out here submitting to anyone. By the way, thank you. And Paul be dragging these women. Paul be dragging these women up and down these church pews. yeah, Paul be dragging. All Paul do is drag these women.
Someone with intellect, you married with someone with calling, you married with someone with intelligence. And so real leadership is not follow me, I'm the man. PG-13, I'm the man. This is what I did. It's like,
wait, he's like, real leadership is not follow me, I am the man. PG-13, I am the man. You need to listen to me, I'm the man. That is literally what so you're admitting that what you're doing is not real leadership because you're describing yourself. And I hope you're correcting yourself right now, because she's like, I submit. You need to tell these people that I submit, and what you just said was not true, and you need to acknowledge that I am a submissive queen, and you just lied on me. Now submit to that. Because she just... and not Timu's submission. She is leading from behind like most women do. The pivot is crazy. The pivot is crazy. By the way, PJ, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Let me hear you. Let me see if I can get your perspective. But at the end of the day, what would you say?
I'm going to bow the knee.
Okay. Now, not because you
I'm gonna bother these nasty work after you have him submit on live TV or YouTube, whatever this is, on my computer. You literally just had this man submitted and let him know this ain't it. I did submit. You need to stop all that foolishness and let these people know I submitted. And he's like, yeah, you submitted. But you gonna bow the knee, right? Girl, you just bent the knee. Also, why y'all talking about bending the knee? Y'all said these people are enslaved, but y'all talking about bending the knee, that she gonna bend the knee. At the end of the day, you gonna bend the knee. I thought it was submit one to another. Mind you, they're gonna continue to talk about submit one to another. But he just told you that at the end of the day, when we disagree, you gonna bend the knee. How is this submitting one to another? Christian to the front. Y'all do not believe in submitting one to another. You don't believe that. You believe that the woman is subject to the man's rule. That is your belief. That is your belief system. Do not come at me in any of these comments. You are a liar. You are lying. I don't know why Christians lie about this very specific thing. Regardless of what you think the Bible say, you believe that the woman should submit to the man and the man should lead the woman. That is your belief. When y'all are sitting up here talking, they're going to go into, oh, it's submit one to another. No, he just said when there is a conflict, you should bend the knee. That's what he just said. And they are going to continue to talk as if, oh, it's submit one to another. No, you just told her to bend the knee, even though you just bend the knee to her, because we saw. You didn't know you did it, because she was like, I'm a submissive queen. I don't know what you're talking about. And you had to agree because you didn't have an opinion. Like, you were wrong. She was graced to submit.
are less than, but because you are submitted.
Absolutely.
And then now let's put it in the context of teams. So at the end of the day, you can be the star.
She's just humoring him. She's humoring this man.
Point guard, but at some place you got to bow the knee to the coach.
Absolutely.
And say, coach, I got to go.
Is it bow the knee or bend the knee? Have I been wrong or are they wrong? I don't know, but it feels like someone is wrong. It don't feel like they're both right. I don't feel like you bow knee. I think you bow head and bend knee. I think it's bend the knee. But look, I mess up all these idioms, so like please don't listen to me for advice around how to say things.
with you because there's no other way. This is the order of the team. God has given the family an order. It is not a position of slavery. It is actually a position of protection and strength and weakness. And I just feel like we need to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Tell me, do you feel like that's a common woman thing, that they have a problem with submission?
I do.
Okay. In
I
which way?
do. I think that some of us, again, it's like you said, it's how you define submission. And some.
Because one thing for certain, two things for sure. One thing, one thing for certain, two things for sure. I don't think men find it hard to bend the knee. That's for sure. I think the only group of people who have a problem with submission, particularly around maybe women.
Of us, we can feel threatened by it, have definitions, number one, and that can be a point of contention. And we feel threatened by it. And if you didn't grow up with a father in the home, I've talked to several women, they didn't grow up with a father in the home, and the father that they did have was abusive. Now that's kind of like telling my story as well. And so there are certain times where a man could be like, kind of put his foot down, like, no, I don't want it. This is what I'm saying. Because you being a man and saying, no, we're not going to do that with our family. We're not going on vacation right now because we're saving for this. Boom, there it is. And as a woman, you might not like that and even feel threatened because of his masculinity.
That is not masculinity. If someone comes into your home and say, we're going on vacation or we're not doing this because I'm the man, blah, blah, blah. No, you're trash. Now you need to explain in a decent level, tone, voice, what is happening. Full leadership is complicit. Wait. Full leadership is complicit. Complicit. Is my ADD acting up? Complicited. Is this a word I don't know? I don't think. Complicated. Sorry, it was a misspelling on your part. My bad. My bad. I was like, wait. I need to get my vocabulary up. Sorry, no. You're right. You're fine. Full leadership is complicated, but negotiated submission deserves a prize. Period. No. But don't apologize. Don't apologize. We all make mistakes. I just thought, so there are times when I'm reading things and because I'm doing it quickly, I'm like, wait, did I? And then my brain does not want to recalibrate and just repeats it. So I thought that was what was happening. It's not your fault. It's mine. Well, it is your fault initially, but it's my fault for being annoying. Preservation of the word in plain sight while disguising idolatry of men as God-led submission. Yeah.
That you haven't observed in life necessarily. You didn't have a daddy like, girl, go back to your room now and don't come out till I tell you to. When the man kind of gets mad.
Wait, why would you having a daddy as a child telling you to go to your room and don't come out until I tell you, equipped you to be able to submit to your husband? Why would your father telling you to go to your room and don't come out until I tell you to come out equip you mentally to submit to a man as a grown a woman? Why? But they want you to believe, and they're going to go down into this dusty, disgusting diatribe about how submission is one to another. It is not slavery. It's not he's above you. It's not he controls you. But you just gave an example of your dad sending you to your room and you learning from that command to go to your room and come out when I tell you to come out, how that would teach you how to be submissive. Women who do not have that in their life don't know how to submit to a man, but you want us to believe y'all are equal. That is insane to me. Absolutely insane. Verbal abuse equals submission. That's insane.
Masculine on a woman, not in a violent way, not in an ungodly way, but I think women can feel threatened, and then that's contention as well, to be like, well, no, I'm not doing anything you say because don't talk to me like that. And it's really miscommunication.
He tries to take it higher to try to help lead.
Yes.
And he's really just using his masculinity and the responsibility that he has as protector and provider to try to make.
This man is justifying abuse. This man just literally sat up here and justify abuse. She says, no, you don't tell me what to do. He takes it higher, quote unquote, because of his masculinity. This man is justifying abuse. He's probably about to say, I don't remember this. He's probably about to say, I'm not saying abuse is right. I'm not saying any of that. That's exactly what you're saying.
Certain decisions, but when that woman rebels again, she goes here, then he has to go higher. And then the next step is now getting into an altercation and throwing dishes and cussing folks out.
Yes,
and
sir.
There's way too many Christian people that are acting not Christian because they just don't understand.
The women not submitting is what is causing abuse in the household, is what he just said. The woman not submitting, being rebellious, is what is causing abuse in the household, in a Christian household.
How to bring all of that way down. And I think a lot of it has to do with submission.
Absolutely.
And it also has to do with leadership, you know?
A lot of it has to do with submission, and it has to do, if a man has to escalate a tense environment to the point where people are throwing dishes, that's a problem. What do you mean? All of it has to do with leadership. You're not a good leader. If you believe that you should lead, I don't. But if you believe you should lead and your house is chaotic, you're not a good leader. I don't understand why are you blaming the person who is supposed to submit? It's your fault, your problem, all you, fully.
And it's, like in the situation that we just said, really, I mean, it's yes, wives submit to their husbands, but there's a point too, when in arguments and things like that, like there are several times where like, I'm like, baby, I could be right in a situation and you'll just, not necessarily submit to me in that term, but like, okay, baby. Yeah, I agree.
Why would you say not necessarily submit to me? I thought it's submit one to another. Why do you feel apprehensive in saying he submitted to you when you're right? Why is there apprehension? Why are you circumspect at the idea that he could ever submit to you when you are talking about submit one to another? Why don't you want to use the word submit? Why were you saying in some arguments when I'm right, I don't want to say the word submit. Why don't you want to wait the word? Why? Why don't you want to say this word submit? Because y'all are liars. Christians are lying specifically on this point. They do not believe men should submit. It's not a thing they believe. They are lying. It is fully a lie. It is fully a lie.
Agree with what you're saying.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to read the scripture. In Ephesians chapter 5, it says in verse number 22, wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he's the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Now, I think that there's a lot of people.
Submit to your wife in everything.
That they take this scripture and they set up sexism.
Submit to your husband in everything, sorry.
And they set up as if the woman has less value, and that's not what it's talking about at all. But I want to read on verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church, and he gave himself up for her, to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present himself a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one has ever hated his own body, but they feed and care for the body, just as Christ does the church, and we are members of the body. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. This is a...
Wives, submit to your man in everything. Wives, submit to your husband in everything. I don't know why Christians up here lying. Oh, it doesn't mean that. So it ain't told that man to submit to you and everything, did it? So when they say submit one to another and then go down to the next verse to explain submission for wives and say submit to husband in everything, and then for husband it says love your wife as the Christ loved the church. Okay, girl, why y'all pretending to be confused? So she probably was right when she's like, I mean, I wouldn't say you submit because men shouldn't submit. That's what the Bible tells you, and that's what you believe, and y'all lying. Yeah, these people are lying because they're about to get into this dusty diatribe about, oh, we submit one to another. No, you don't believe that. If you believe that, you would have been able to say it with your full chest. She would have said, you submit to me, you weak ain't nothing, A-B. I'm joking. The more they talk, the more he submit.
Profound mystery. But I'm talking about
Hi, Paper Frost. Thank you for being a member for 4 months. I appreciate that.
Christ and the church. However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loved himself, and the wife must respect her husband. Now, what sticks out to you from that passage?
Wow, it was so much. I think
what sticks out to you in that passage is like when I used to teach Sunday school and I would ask my kids, so what sticks out to you? Like, girl, what do you mean? What? Tell me what you want to tell me. Ain't nobody got time. We're not testing. With sparkles like, whoa. Thank you so much for being a member for 7 months.
You know, what sticks out to me, first of all, is we can focus so much on the wives submitting to the husbands. But then there's a lot, I just heard a lot of responsibility for the husband.
Okay, talk about it.
I heard.
Really, you heard a lot of, it says, men love the woman like the Christ of the church and die for her, essentially. I don't hear the responsibility because these men ain't dying for you. So just love you. That's a lot of work. All right, girl, period. But you going to submit to everything. Got it.
A lot of instruction for the husband. Like, okay, so all I got to do is like, just submit. Okay, just.
All I got to do is just submit. Girl, what does that entail? You going to diminish the fact that you out here submitting after he said it takes a lot of strength. You got to be a strong woman to submit. You going to just dismiss that? Oh, since you're bragging on our membership, Dr. Katrina King has been a member for 39 months. Thank you so much. Oh, we've been together for so long. I appreciate you.
Submit. But the husband, you're responsible for this woman.
Right.
You're responsible for spiritual development. You're responsible for, just provision, earthly provision, a roof over her head, food. You're responsible for, her body. You're supposed to love her like Christ loved the church and gave his life for her.
Yeah.
Now, today, we don't really have to give physically our life for one another, but come on, when you lay down your life.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people.
Why did he cut her off? She just said, today you don't have to give up your life. Okay, so you just took the biggest thing that men should do for women. She took the biggest thing. Watch what he gonna do. He gonna be like, absolutely not. She just said, today you don't have to give up your life for women. Agreed. Why are they there? Why are you submitting? Why are you submitting if they don't have to give up their life for you? Like what's a period? Watch him sit there trying to reclaim it. Watch him sit there trying to reclaim.
We'll talk about the submission piece, but the call to lay down your life and love your wife like Christ loved the church is submission, and it is submission to the highest form. And so when I read this, I see a lot. I see wives submit to your husbands. I see wives honor your husbands, reverence your husbands. But I see the trump card, and the trump card is husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church, and he gave himself up for her. So the husband is not supposed to just love his wife. He is supposed to have a self-sacrificing love for his wife, which is the highest form of submission.
Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. It's the highest form of submission, giving your life up. She just said you don't have to do that. She just said, Today's society does not require that. So if that's the highest form of submission, you ain't got to do that. So what are you submitting this time?
The love that Jesus hung on the cross for.
Yeah,
That kind
you are
of
literally
love.
supposed to die for your wife's needs. And I think we can go.
Yeah, but you don't have to die for your wife's needs in today's society. So why is she submitting again when the biggest thing you would give in the kind of negotiation is death? You don't need to do it. So what is this?
Back and forth with the wives supposed to submit to the husbands. This call to love her as Christ loved the church is higher than the call for you to submit to me and honor me, because inside of that love is me submitting and honoring you as well.
Yeah.
So for me, the Bible talks about mutual submission. It's not just wives submit themselves to their husbands. And that's why I always talk about the pretext and the post-text to keep things, the text in the context. This is basic hermeneutics. And if you were to look at verse number 21, the verse 21, the pretext, the verse number 22 that says, wives submit yourself. Do you know what verse 21 says?
Come on.
It says, submit to one another out of the reverence of Christ. And
are you bending the knee? You told her to bend the knee. When there is a conflict, she has to bend the knee. How is it submit one to another? Where is your submission? Where is your submission if it is submit one to another? Because you're a dusty degenerate. You understand that the first verse that says submit one to another is stated, and then the explanation of what submission means for both parties explained, where the man is not expected to submit, he's expected to love. And the woman is expected to submit to the husband in everything. So yeah, no, absolutely. You're not going to play these dusty semantic games with us. Oh, I have to go. I just realized I'm way over time. All right, I'll give y'all 30 more minutes. Let's see. Let me try to not cut them off.
then it goes into wives submitting themselves to their husbands.
So he's just breaking it down.
Not for us to extract verse 22 and say, follow me, I'm the man, submit to me. This is, in context, a text about mutual submission. But the
Okay, so if you believed it was mutual submission, why did you have a problem with her asking you to explain why it is that you don't want your son to watch a PG-13 movie even after she screened it and said it's fine for him to watch? Why? Why would you tell her that she has to bend the knee when there is a conflict with you about decisions? That don't sound like a submission. It's giving phantom submission both ways. You said she has to bend the knee when it's conflict. So where is the submission from your end? Because that's his son. She got her daughter, plural daughters. Yep.
highest form of it is me laying down my life to love you. So the spirit that speaks to me from Ephesians chapter.
Someone said he's talking to her like, the thing is, I don't mind if I believe you're smarter than me and you can prove to me that you're smarter than me. I actually really do like, you gotta think small females. I especially like people teaching me. I do. But not when you're talking out about side of your mouth like this.
5, if you look at the text in context, would be God values mutual submission. Yes, you are supposed to submit to me as your husband, but I'm also supposed to submit to you. Now, does that mean at the end of the day, if there is a decision that we have to make that we don't see eye to eye on, at the end of the day, as a husband, I need to make that decision.
Okay, how is that mutual submission? How is that mutual submission? Can someone explain? If there's a decision at the end of the day that we don't agree on, you have to do what I tell you to do, but we are mutually submitting to each other. How? How? How?
but it's after I've heard all the wisdom that is in you. There is no president that would not consult the vice president.
Oh, he's submitting to hearing you. He's submitting to hearing you and then doing what he wants. The submission is that he'll listen to you. That is his submission. Got it. Yes. Biblical submission is obey the man in everything in exchange for hypothetically, but likely never, most likely never dying for you. Yeah.
In his cabinet before making a decision. There is no GM that would not consult the coach. There is no president that would not consult the vice president and the generals before making it. And there should be no husband that would not go to the product of their intelligent choice, who is their wife, and say, sweetheart, I'm thinking about.
He is touching her hands. She's not listening to nothing he's saying. She's just in heaven. She's like, I got a husband who likes me. And good for her. A lot of these men don't like these women. So I'm just only imagining. Yo, physical touch is one hell of a thing. It is. I will zone out in a minute. Also, if I don't find you to be smart, but I like you, usually that's not a thing. I've never really once. But like touching me and I'm like, okay, well, sure, fine. It is what it is. Like just
selling the house. What do you think? If you are that husband, it's like, I'm the man. I won't sell the house. It's my house. Okay, brother, you need to learn a lot. There is a lot of growing for you to do to understand the spirit of the scripture, which is a spirit of mutual submission. Anything comes to mind?
Yeah, absolutely.
When he says anything comes to mind, the petty in me, I think this is why I can't maintain relationships for over 4 years, because the petty in me would have been like, something does come to mind. You know how you used to say PG-13 for my son? It did come to mind that you were the person you're talking about beating your chest. This is my house. You're going to do what I say. Because you just brought up that I wasn't submissive to you, even though I never let the son watch a PG-13 movie because you told me to, and you were just upset with me because I asked you to explain it to me. So the fact that you didn't want to explain it to me feels like you're exactly the type of man you're describing. I know you're not, babes. I know you're not, but like, can you explain? Here's the thing, I don't let things go. I do not let things. I forgive easily, but I will bring things up randomly. I'll just remember things and bring it up. I promise it don't mean anything, but yeah.
When I think of submitting to, my husband, and this is just, okay, it's just a beautiful passage of scripture to me for the married person. It's so beautiful because it's saying, it's kind of like how you're seeing how God organized the family. You know what I mean? He put a head.
I don't want to hear nothing about the head. Wait, is this where they talk about how God created Eve from a macrib? Let me hear this.
Because that only makes sense. We had kings and priests back in the Bible days and things like that. There was someone who was going to ultimately be responsible for this whole thing. And so he set the man there, and then he's describing how a woman can support the man, how the man will cover his family and support the family. And just as a wife, I have to say that it makes me feel good. It defines like to submit to you. I feel like it strengthens you. It strengthens your the call that God put on you as a husband. Do you know what I mean? So I want to respect you and build you up. And personally, it makes me feel good. Like I married you because like I wanted a covering. Like I wanted this thing that God called marriage, and I wanted you to be my man. I wanted you to cover me. And okay, we're going to make some decisions, and I'm going to fight for you because I know you'll lay down your life for me. Because you'll lay down your life for me. Yeah, baby.
Mind you, 2 minutes ago, she just said men don't have to lay their life down. But I know you would do something you will never have to do. I know you would, even though, oh my God. Oh, I need to put my hands in the sun. Look at that. Oh, that's it. That's disturbing. That's disgusting. Mind you, I have so many tonics on my face at this point, but this is wild.
Tell me what
That's
we
so
need
good.
to do.
You know, as a leader, it does make me feel empowered to hear my wife say that I believe in you and I believe in the God in you to lead our family. As a pastor, it makes me feel empowered when people stand with me and say, Pastor Ken, I believe in you. I believe in the God in you. If you want to lead the church,
Yo, imagine if this is what it takes to keep a man. You have to be up there lying to the, I feel great being your doormat, lifting you up, building you, caring. Even that, I'm pretty vain. It is what it is. That was pure vanity. That was pure vanity. My faith was giving chocolate. My faith is giving real cute chocolate. And then my hand came up and they were kind of palish. So I was very annoyed, but no. Nothing meaningful happened. By the way, there's this whole tie into this video that I have. Let me do it now, quickly, 2 seconds, around this idea that women are willingly leaning into submission, leaning into patriarchy. Women are happily giving themselves over to be subject to men's rule. And so I think it is an insane proposition to ask men to step away from the power they have while women are out here saying, no, I want you to keep this power. I'm giving you your power. No, it's not pale. It's just like a different color. Like I'm obviously darker, but like it's just like it. These are fundamentally different colors. Like this and this are fundamentally different colors, and that's the problem. So I might start using my face products on my hands. Just FYI.
here, I'm with you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not just going to jump off ship because I don't understand it. If you would ask anybody in a leadership position, that's all they really want, is for you to trust the God in me enough to be able to make decisions to cover you.
Yeah.
And so for me, the position of a husband isn't to be a dictator. It's actually a position of responsibility and covering and leadership. And so I approach you.
Actually, I think you might be right. I think this might be it.
That my job is to bring your best out. My job is to make you as healthy as possible. My job is to lead you in places that you could not have gotten to by yourself. My job is to exemplify the Heavenly Father in our relationship. My job is to do everything that I can to help you be everything. It's not to stifle you. It's not to push you down and to keep you in your place. It's actually to help you blossom. And I think for me, is to help me, because the scripture calls you a helpmate.
Right, yeah.
And so it's not like this selfishness that I need to be the man to feed my ego and everything.
Well, the Bible call you a helpmate. What the Bible call you, King? King, what the Bible call you? The Bible ain't call you no helpmate, did it? Period. Let her know her role.
Everybody else is serving me and supporting me. I think that if you have good leadership, that's your privilege to do. That's what you want to do.
It's like, you know, the neck that turns the head, like the neck supports the head.
Yeah.
Baby, what do you need? Okay, you need me to love you. You need me to respect you.
Yeah.
Okay, you need me to just get you some dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that for you. I will support you and strengthen.
Yo, thank God. Thank God for Gen Z. Thank God for Gen Z, because we thoroughly failed. Jesus, thank God for Gen Z. Yeah, we sure failed. Whatever this was, we failed it. Whatever this was, we failed it. We're gonna have to give it to the Gen Z girlies for now. Gen Z, y'all got us.
Interesting. And I think that's why our marriage is healthy.
Mind you, Gen Z don't even know how to be professional at work. Gen Z have the whole burden of the world on their shoulders, and they ain't got Gen Z got the burden of the world on their shoulders, because we should, millennials and boomers, girl, we all failed. Let's just be very clear. The failure is failing. But Gen Z have the Gen Z steer. Gen Z ain't going to work. Gen Z ain't got no job. But girl, Gen Z, y'all gonna have to pull a miracle or phenomena, the blood of Jesus. Y'all gonna have to do a lot. We counting on y'all, girl. Because Gen Alpha,
Because you look at the neck as supporting the head.
Yeah.
I look at the neck as helping to turn the head.
Mm.
But if you have the other perspective that you look at your role to turn me,
Yeah.
and my role was for you to support me, it's not as healthy.
Yeah.
But as long as we flip flop and I'm looking at you, I'm going to you before every decision. Sweetheart, we about to make this hire. What do you think? Sweetheart, I'm about to invest this money. What do you think? Sweetheart, I'm about to have this conversation.
I never understood how much work women have to do to build a leader. Then that said, the leader turns around and tells you that you are a second-class citizen who can't lead, go to school, or make your own. Yeah, right. Like, I don't understand it. And it's like, why would you, like, I mean, I get why. I think the socialization, Christianity, all of that is just Abrahamic religion generally. Let's be very clear on that. But it's just, it's sad to see. It's sad to see. Because you can tell she was upset in the moment where he contradicted her and said, "You are not submissive, woman." And she was like, "How dare you?" Sorry, I had a movie playing out in my mind. Oh, yeah, Gen Alpha can barely read. I ain't even going to look to Gen Alpha. It's going to be Gen Z. The Gen Zers have a lot on their plate. I believe in them too. Like some of their takes, like I've watched young Gen Zers and I'm like, you might not be able to afford anything in life at all, ever, but like, I see you. I see you. I promise you, millennials were just struggling through it. So don't blame millennials for the problems you see. Blame the boomers. They were the worst of it. And millennials were just like really struggling through it. We had terrible parents because like we didn't have good parents. we literally don't know what's happening. We literally don't know what's happening. And if we did, we would tell you. We're still holding on desperately to our childhood. Like you have to understand that while you went through the pandemic, like we were fully conscious during 9/11. Millennials went through multiple once in a lifetime phenomenon. Like millennials, we struggling, girl. We just at this point they're like, oh, millennials look younger than Gen Z. The reason is because we never let go of our youth. we're still running around here like we children. Yeah, we thought the world was gonna end in our life. We thought that when it hit the year 2000, we were all gonna go to heaven or hell or whatever we were gonna do. We thought the world was gonna end, and we had end of life parties planned. I was in Jamaica, and the when the calendar changed, we literally were on the beach partying because we were like Revelations party. Like we said, we were in the book of Revelation. This is the end of the world, and we were we were throwing a party. So to a lot of millennials, girl, don't be mad at us. We think that the world has ended. And we just really stumbling our way through life right now. Like millennials, we're like really stumbling our way through life right now. If any of us are your parents, well, that would be alpha, right? Anywho, yeah, some of us are parents. Like, if forgive them, for they know not what they do. I promise you, we have no clue what we're doing. Very few millennials know what they're doing in life.
What do you think?
Yes.
Because I was smart enough to marry you, I want to be smart enough to listen to you.
And I know that's part of my.
I saw the internet. We're literally the generation without the internet, and then we had to learn to use the internet in real time. Like it's just a lot. We went through a lot. I feel like you should give us grace. We failed. Let's be clear. We failed. Let's be very clear. We failed. Gen Z failed, and we've accepted our failure. We failed. We accepted our failure, and we said, "Here you go." And I apologize, but here you go. This is the failure on the screen.
Job as your wife, to be a wise counsel to you, a confidant. And so I'm very careful of the counsel that I give to you.
Yeah.
I'm very careful to not just give you my opinion or some just, something that's just not important at all.
Yeah. We had a post, and it was not too long ago, and it was a post about women's role in ministry. And I was talking about hermeneutics, and I was talking about how
we need to play Will Smith. Parents don't understand. Love me some Boomer down, but yeah, no, I don't. The Boomers piss me off every chance they get. Gen X, I don't really think about them, but the Boomers piss me off every chance they get. All right, I'm not going to finish this because absolutely not. But let's go into the after show quickly because I do have something that I want. Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know if I said thank you. I need us to go. I need to show y'all the kidology thing that she did. Just the end. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you all. I did give my summary previous to the video ending, but they're annoying me, so I'm just about to leave it alone. By the way, my fellow Christians, the two people in here, please no hate to you. I just think that was a dusty conversation. You all might actually be lovely, good, generous, kind, all that people. So just know that I'm attacking the argument, even if it didn't seem like
Brethren, it has come to my attention.
All right. Yeah, the boomers said all doors closed behind me, and they get real mad when you call them out on their foolishness. They get real mad. All right, I'm just gonna play this quickly before I leave.
Attention, contrary to my stoic disposition.
Feminism, feminist, feminism,
feminism, Feminists love to preach about women's choice.
Feminism has been one of the things that has made our society so sick. It's like probably the number one thing. It's caused LGBTQ, transgenderism. It's caused most of the culturally sick things that we're dealing with.
Modern feminism is poison.
I consider a good dose of feminism equivalent to Eve eating from the...
All right, so that's who they're talking about. Let's find out about her man.
Which leads us to another of Savannah's major controversies, her allegedly gay husband. So when Savannah appeared on the Whatever podcast, she got into a bit of a one-on-one tiff with a fellow creator and former American Idol contestant, Erica Perry. Now, Erica debuted on TikTok by starting a rumor that Savannah's husband is gay.
That's the husband. That is her masculine husband that she's out here telling people they need to get like. That right there is him. That is her masculine husband.
You guys, this is her manly, masculine husband that she preaches about because she believes that feminine men are toxic to society.
Now, this resulted in a lot of people speculating that Savannah must be in a lavender marriage, which is basically a marriage between two people of differing sexual orientations who marry out of convenience, whether it be financial convenience or a way to avoid stigma and discrimination from their religious communities and families.
Men, if you get off...
I'm ignoring all of y'all's comment because y'all out of pocket. Y'all out of it.
to any other woman other than your wife.
Look, that is the man. Ain't nobody. Period. Like anyone can pose anyway, and I don't think it's right to. I mean, I don't think it is right to assume someone's sexuality from how they pose online and blah blah blah. And femininity does not mean you're gay and that is homophobic and all of that. So, period.
You are committing adultery.
She said getting off to other women. If that woman is not your wife, it is adultery. But what if you get off to a man that's not your wife? Is that one of those little loopholes?
This little cookie here is making quite the stir on the TikTok lately. Her name is Savannah. She is giving marriage advice from what seems to be a lavender marriage.
Savannah being in a lavender marriage made a lot of sense to a lot of people because in their minds, the only way she could wholeheartedly claim that marital consent isn't necessary is if there isn't even anything to consent about in the first place. This rumor became a hot topic on TikTok, but the kettle would rarely overboil when Savannah appeared on Michael Knowles' YouTube channel alongside fellow lady conservative influencers to have a little casual discussion about such things as whether women should vote or have access to life-changing healthcare, as one does. Now, something that is a universal with these conservative, God-fearing influencer girlies is that they are fake as and they will do anything to garner the toxic male validation they need to advance their brand. And that means putting their values to one side, taking their masculine energy by the fallopian tubes, and attacking their fellow conservative influencer girlies into the dust.
Yeah, I so love that Kidology did not take the bait and go full like conservative grifter. I do like that.
Which again, cognitive dissonance. Anyway, one of these girlies, Trump-adoring Emily Wilson, yeeted her feminine energy to the curb and said the unthinkable.
Banner, are you a pick-me? Are you doing pick-me stuff?
I'm married. I don't need to be picked. I've already been picked.
Yeah, but every single thing you say is literally appealing to men and usually hating on women as well, which is funny because I would think if I was in a happy marriage, I wouldn't even do this. Like, I would just go out and just be happy and do my thing. I think the advice you give to women is.
It is true. These conservative women will literally probably shouldn't say that, will attack each other viciously to get men's put a man that they all like in a room or want the attention of that man in a room with them, and they will viciously destroy each other. It is wild.
Awful. I think it's at a detriment to them. And I don't think it comes from true happiness. And I think it really does come out of insecurity from being in, frankly, a lavender marriage, as everyone online can see.
I disagree. I think
Savannah, are you that easily?
It's funny that Michael Knowles is laughing while he was on campus kissing men. And I won't say allegedly. This man was on campus kissing men. Let's be clear. He said he was an actor and he was trying to act, and someone said the video was fake, but the video didn't seem fake. He was out there just tonguing down men on camera. So and now he's married. So.
Manipulated by TikTok rumors.
Savannah, like the God-fearing submissive Christian that she is, forgot all about her feminine energy and did the ultimate masculine move. She decided to defend her man.
What is it? Can you clear up for a millennial? What's a lavender marriage?
Man in 2 seconds.
Oh, a lavender marriage is when you
why do you think I called you out for hating on me specifically?
Isn't a lavender marriage
because
usually like?
You berated my husband online. You berated my husband for absolutely no reason.
No, I just looked at.
God, someone said that. Someone said that. I had to repeat it.
I just looked at 2 seconds. I was, oh, that's a gay man. That's why she's.
What?
So.
Now, Savannah's husband is Noah, and he's spicy.
Sorry.
It's a gay man. That's why she's.
What?
So.
Now, Savannah's husband is Noah, and he's spicy. Sorry. Now, what I love about these rumors of Savannah's husband having a little bit of the mountain air throbbing through his veins is that it really does show how everything is on a spectrum. A continually moving individual spectrum. This man, I assume, is as straight as a cucumber. And that's the point. You can be a straight, fundamentalist, God-fearing provider man and still use toner. You can still take quirky selfies in the mirror. Doing a yoga girly tree pose. You can still have the James Charles posture locked.
Ain't no way. He ate her up. He ate her up in the picture. He ate her. He about it. He know he a 10. He about it with. Yo, you're not gonna tell me you didn't eat her up. Yo, what I said, he ate her up fully devoured, no crumbs. A diva, she ain't no diva. She ain't no diva. Ate her all the way up. And they posted this picture. And period. He said, "Girl, let me show you how to do this. You ain't posing right. Let me give you face, arms, legs, lips." It's giving her nail. Body yada 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 yada.
In and be a straight guy. And I think it's so important to see that, especially with these charlatans, these heteronormative grifters, these just graduated from high school influencers cosplaying as trad homemakers. Because like it or not, Savannah is a modern woman and her husband is a modern, seemingly metrosexual man. Oh, sorry, that's not mine. It must be his. All credit for inspiring that joke goes to this wonderful creator. Now, only a few days ago, the internet got their first PR exposure to Savannah's own Jack Twist. And this is what our dominant leader, provider, decision-making, head of the household patriarch had to say about defending his wife's honor online.
It's just kind of not my focus, and I really don't feel the need to stand up to something that isn't a real threat, frankly. And I don't mean to like sound like over masculine or anything.
Oh, don't.
I don't mean to sound over masculine as nasty word. Ah! This guy should have just sat at home and ate her food. Ain't no reason to be out here making your man have to come out there and do this. Oh my God. Oh, I'm bringing that back.
Provider, decision-making, head of the household patriarch had to say about defending his wife's honor online.
It's just kind of not my focus, and I really don't feel the need to stand up to something that isn't a real threat, frankly. And I don't mean to like sound like over masculine or anything.
Oh, don't worry, boo.
But it like there's nothing until something affects our marriage.
She is so uncomfortable. She is so uncomfortable. Someone said in his Kim K voice, she is so uncomfortable. Yo, what if she didn't know until someone pointed it out? What? Look at her. Look at her. Watch her.
Need to stand up to something that isn't a real threat, frankly. And I don't mean to like sound like over masculine or anything.
Oh, don't worry, boo.
But it like there's nothing until something affects our marriage.
Yeah, that was a dead giveaway. That was a dead. The way she don't even believe that. She got more bass in her. How much she paid this man? Look how uncomfortable she is. Even when he said over masculine, look at what she does.
But it like I don't. There's nothing until some
Provider, decision-making head of the household patriarch had to say about defending his wife's honor online.
It's just kind of not my focus, and I really don't feel the need to stand up to something that isn't a real threat, frankly. And I don't mean to like sound like over masculine or anything.
Oh, don't worry, boo.
But it like I don't. There's nothing.
She just straight up laughed at him. She just straight up laughed at him.
Until something affects our marriage physically or in like the real life or like in the present moment.
She's shaking her head, but she sought comfort in her here. That's how uncomfortable she was.
Then yes, I will act out and do what I need to do to defend and protect what we have together. But until then, like it's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my energy. I need to focus on building my business and where I'm going and the current business that I'm at, and like focusing on investing into her and loving her instead of like being all distracted with all of this like noise that's just like complete like buffoonery and fake.
I'll provide it, everyone. Letting
buffoonery. He became British, girl. He was like, oh, I don't do that buffoonery. No, I'll invest in my woman. I'll take care of my woman. I'll take care of my girl. You know what I mean? Don't do that foolishness, that buffoonery. I'm building businesses. If you knew what it takes to run a business, then you would have a business, but you don't, so you don't. Ugh. Period. A masculine king.
His wife be the independent influencer girl boss that she is, and good on him, taking the back seat and letting her thrive, living her best bigoted life. I cannot wait to see what Savannah decides to try and go viral with next. I'm sure it's going to be something out of this world, like women shouldn't be allowed to leave the house after, I don't know, sunset in case the Cullens ditch their vegetarian diet. But in the meantime, don't listen to 19-year-olds.
And with that, I say, if your man is homosexual and you don't know as a woman, try not to come out here and tell other men to be more masculine and drag people about their relationship. It's not becoming to be in a lavender marriage dragging other people allegedly. I bet there was tension, but you played too much. You play entirely too much. It's given crumble cookie CEO. I don't care. Anyway, thank you all so much. What we done in the Discord? No, I'll come to the Discord. I'm gonna order food because I haven't eaten. So I'll see you all in the Discord. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. Bye. And yes, your husband got a boyfriend is going to be everything I say all of this year.